Break ends in 5 seconds.
He thinks Frisbee golf is the sport of the future. She's sticking with football. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
One of the worst starts for Russell Wilson in the history of his career. One of the lowest passer ratings he's ever put up. I mean, it was just a brutal stat line for Russell Wilson. Hey, good morning. Maggie, great. Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff here on CBS Sports Radio. Perloff, sometimes the numbers tell the story and sometimes they don't. I don't think Russell Wilson played as bad as this stat line, but you can point to these numbers and just say Russell Wilson is not the rising tide that's ever going to lift this boat. Yet he's being paid like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's a major problem for the Broncos with no easy solution.
You're saying that Russell Wilson's $250 million contract for a 1-6 Broncos is a problem? I guess, of course, Maggie, we know this. But here's my question. What are you going to do about it?
There is not a good solution here because, yes, it might be obvious, but there were still a lot of Russell defenders out there that would look at his numbers and say, hey, it's actually not that far off of Patrick Mahomes' numbers. And, hey, he's not the problem. This is the defense that can't tackle. It's the coaching. It's all the other things around Russell Wilson, and he shouldn't be thrown out with the bathwater, so to speak. I don't think you can make that case anymore. I think we have enough of a sample size where you're not waiting for old Russ is gone. He's never coming back. And while it might not be all of his fault, you couldn't fault the Broncos for really wanting to cut bait with him just a year after they give him like an epic contract extension. You can brush it off and say we all know it, but this is a massive problem that's staring the Broncos right in the face.
Yeah, I mean, we know that too. How are you going to cut bait with him?
So I'm looking at overthecap.com, and not to get too much in the weeds here, but it looks like as far as with the information that the public knows about, right, in terms of his contract, if you wanted to trade him post June 1 of this season, after this season and before 2024 season kicks off, you'd have a dead cap hit of about $18.4 million. That's not terrible, especially if you're going to start over with a rookie quarterback. I don't think you can have Russell Wilson on the team and then get like the second overall pick and draft Drake May or something out of North Carolina and have Drake May starting with Russell Wilson sitting on the bench. When have we ever seen something like that when he's getting paid $50 million a year?
Here's the problem. There's so much going wrong in Denver right now. And Russell Wilson, first of all, I don't think they're bad enough to get the number 2 pick, which is
right
what
now
you're
they'd
gonna
be
need.
3.
Yeah, I honestly, keep in mind, they lost in Kansas City. They're not going to win that game. Guess who else isn't going to win that game? 29 other teams in the NFL.
Sure. Their
defense actually woke up and showed some pride last night for the first time all season.
That's true.
So if they can play that defensive game, and I will agree with you, Russ is a problem. Even if they go to Stidham, they're going to win a bunch of games. They're going to probably win 5 games. So I don't see them as an easy candidate for number 1.
I need to see another good performance from the defense before I think they've actually turned a corner here. And by the way, the trade deadline's coming in 3 weeks. It looks like Frank Clark's going to be off the team. He was held out of the game last night.
Yeah,
I get it, but there could be other defensive pieces that are on the way out.
It doesn't matter. There's 3 good players on that defense. Just effort.
Right, so
the fact that there was effort to me says there can be effort again.
Okay, so they didn't want to get embarrassed on Thursday Night Football against the defending champs. Is that going to hold up when they're playing Green Bay in the middle of a 1 o'clock slate or whatever a week?
Yeah, I don't think it's hard to stop Green Bay right now.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying about the effort. You can lose to anybody if you don't have effort. When you're not in the spotlight and you're just another game that's on amongst the 10 games we watch every Sunday, I don't know if you're going to see that effort.
Yeah, I think that Sean Payton woke up and said the whole defense woke up last night and said we can't be the worst defense in the history of the NFL, which is where they were trending to. So now the question becomes offense. I think they will look at Stidham in this 10-day period, but I think there's so many problems. They couldn't block. They could not block Chris Jones. And how many times did we see a Broncos lineman get up off the ground and say, man, I missed that block? Sean Payton has no idea how to game plan in the 2023 NFL. Was there an open receiver at any point last night? And they have a Jerry Jeudy problem. They're forcing the ball to him, and he's either a negative play or an interception. Like, the dude is just like, he can't get open. And if you're trying to get him involved in the game plan, it's going to be bad for you. Not to sound like our friend Steve Smith, but he's a problem. They're trying to get him involved, and it never works.
Right, but this is going to come down on Jeudy. He's getting called out, as you mentioned, by Steve Smith and the national media. He's getting called out. We'll play that sound for you in just a little bit. And you're going to have Sean Payton, who it looks like the organization has made the longer-term commitment to Payton than they have to Russell Wilson, even with that incredible contract that they gave to Russ. It feels like Payton is here for the longer haul. So who is this going to come back down on? I mean, a lot of it's going to come back down on Russell Wilson. I agree with you. I think Sean Payton is to blame for a lot of this. But Wilson, it's just not going to happen with him. Yeah. I don't think he's like, his career is done. He could play maybe for another team at some point, but it would probably be next year. I think that Russ, I mean, this was bad. You can't have a guy who's a future Hall of Famer throwing for fewer than 100 yards in the game. And listen, one of the interceptions ended up getting tipped, not his fault. The other one was horrible in the first quarter. And even if they were only down 3-0.
Who is he throwing to?
Well, even if they're only down 3-0, he's throwing the linebacker, but even if they're only down 3-0, this is not a team that's built to come back from any type of hole, even a 3-0 hole. It's like you score first, you're done. Why Sean Payton would go for it on the 4th and 3 on their first drive of the game? Just take the points. You're on the road against Kansas City.
Oh, come on. That was a long field goal in bad weather conditions. He had to go for it. I didn't think
Butler was hitting from 60 yards last night.
I don't even think that was a controversy. Nobody was ripping that in real time. And also, too, they were rolling. They were rolling. Okay, one thing about the defense, they could not get Kansas City off the field. Blame Russell all you want. How many first downs did Kansas City have? It was first down. Travis Kelce had 100 and something yards in the first half.
I know.
So it wasn't like one reason that Russ wasn't as bad as the numbers say last night, because I didn't see Russ on the field a lot. They couldn't get first downs, and then Kansas City just kept the ball the entire time. So it was a weird game. If you watch that game, Russ did not put up a Nathan Peterman-like game. It wasn't like those numbers were weird.
Because he's a future Hall of Famer. He should never be in the same conversation as Nathan Peterman ever. And like it was just bad. I can't cape for Russ after a game like this.
Did you see a lot of bad Russ plays? Like there just weren't. First of all,
the interception was bad.
There was one bad interception, and he obviously didn't see Nick Bolton there, which happens to a lot of quarterbacks. But generally, though, there was just nothing. There was nothing going on at all. They barely had the ball. They could run a little. Kansas City said,
fine.
Kansas City said, go ahead and run the ball. We don't care. We're going to put everybody back in coverage. There was just nowhere to go. Sean Payton had no answers. This was a total team failure. But that being said, I was actually a little encouraged by Denver last night. I'm like, oh my God, their defense didn't let up 70 points.
Yeah, and so now we're giving out participation trophies and moral victories.
They're 32nd in every single category. Yeah. They move up a little bit in some of these, although they did give up a ton of yards, so maybe not. Yeah, I think they'll look at Stidham, and I don't think it matters. It's irrelevant because they still have this cap problem with Russell Wilson. It doesn't really matter. They've already lost the battle here. So now they just play hard the rest of the season and try and get some positive momentum. And I think Russ is back next year.
But in what role? Like you can't be that high price of a backup. Like that just doesn't work in the NFL. We never see that.
Well, you could definitely draft a quarterback like 10 or anyway. I mean, like listen, a lot of quarterbacks sit. Did Zach Wilson start week 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Trey Lance was obviously going to start. Did not start, and he was a number 3 pick. So you could definitely take a guy at 5 and sit him. That's the way it always used to be. I mean, Carson Palmer was the number 1 overall, and he sat behind Kitna.
Okay.
And I think the trend is more towards, hey, maybe we're going to let some of these guys sit.
Oh,
well, it's not. Everyone's
that's not the
playing
trend.
this year.
Maybe it should be, but no, that's fine. But Russ, we're just acknowledging that Russ is bad. Like, you cannot win games. So why would you have him play when you have the rookie sitting back there just for the sake of it? Like, that doesn't make any sense either because Russ isn't playing at a high level. You've got to cut bait with Russell Wilson. If you bring in a rookie quarterback, he should not be on the roster. What you do is you bring in someone like your friend Andy Dalton or somebody who can kind of show a guy the ropes. Like,
why not just Russ? Why would you take that huge cap hit why sign Andy Dalton for $9 million when you have Russ on? You're already paying Russ.
Because I don't think that Russ can be a backup. You know, there was this thing, right?
Watch next week.
Well, no, I meant multiple seasons worth of him being a backup.
I mean, if they go to Stidham next week, we'll see how Russ can do. I mean, maybe that's the experiment for moving forward. Maybe they say, Russ, let's take a little break here.
Let's ride.
They might, but I just don't see how you could keep him on the roster after this year. Especially if you bench him now, I mean, he's not going to stand for that. He's not going to want that. He's going to ask for a trade, and it's going to be painful. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. They had 4 passing first downs last night.
Mr. Unlimited.
Not so much last night.
They did have that a deep pass interference too to defend Russ. Listen, how many passes did he throw? 22 on the night?
The best play that they had was the roughing the passer call that they basically got bailed out on to keep the drive alive, to score the only touchdown of the entire game, which was late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did run the ball well. Kansas City did lay back. Yeah, but he only threw 21 passes, 22? How many was it?
20. He was 13 for 22, 95 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
Right. He did not throw a lot of passes. Did not have the ball in his hand. I know everyone's talking about Kansas City is not explosive, but they would not give the ball back to Denver at any point. I mean, Kansas City is a new team. All of a sudden, by the way, your Buffalo Bills should watch Kansas City. Like, they're an explosive offense that is all of a sudden redefining themselves to be a run the ball, let our defense win the game. Like, they listened to the fans who said, give the ball to Pacheco. So everyone's like, oh, the Chiefs didn't score many points last night. I thought their offense looked pretty darn good. Like, there was a play in the first quarter where they did a lateral just for fun. I mean, Travis Kelce had 109 yards in the first half or something.
Yeah, but see, you and I see something different there with the Chiefs. It does look a lot different, and who knows what it's going to look like at the end of the season. I'm sure Rashee Rice is going to look like the second coming, and it's going to be fine. But I see the Travis Kelce output, and it's like, yeah, that's good. He's also the only reliable receiver they have right now.
How so? I mean, Patrick threw it to everybody last night.
I know, but who else do you really like as a receiver on that team?
All of them. I mean, Patrick barely threw an incompletion all night. The ball didn't touch the ground. Like, anybody he threw to caught it pretty much. There was a couple plays that didn't work out, but generally, almost every pass play they ran was fine.
But I think that
they're just not explosive.
Yeah, they're not explosive plays. It's a lot of like stuff to the running backs where you got Isaiah Pacheco with 6 receptions. You had
because that's what the Broncos were doing.
McKinnon for 3. Yeah, they're giving it to him. That's fine. But I think this with Kelce, when you have the 9 catches for 124 yards. Listen, he's awesome. Longest play was a 40-yarder, which is great. But to me, it's like Kelce, and when he hobbles off the field as he did at certain times last night, but to his credit, did come back, it's not as scary at all without Kelce. And the way he's been playing and been banged up, is he actually going to play a full schedule the rest of the way?
I
already
know.
Missed the opener.
Dude was 100% uncoverable, ran out like a house on fire.
Yeah.
If you're worried about Travis Kelce after last night, I don't know what to tell you. He's probably the best receiving weapon in the NFL right now.
No, I'm worried about his health. I'm worried about him limping off the field at times.
He was hurt last week. He came out here and just completely torched the other team. In fact, Patrick could have thrown it to him a few other times.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes, by the way, 30 for 40, 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception early in the game when he was just screwing around in the red zone. But, I mean, that's unbelievable. It's probably like the 7th best game of the whole season. 30 for 40, Maggie.
It's crazy. You think 30 for 40, you would have more points than 19.
Yeah, but they were just protecting their lead.
They were 1 for 5 in the red zone.
Yeah, they were just protecting the lead. I think it was pretty incredible that this team is completely redefined themselves. Now they're like, we're just going to have long drives, churn it out. We don't care if we score, keep the defense off the field. And it's working. I mean, I know they lost that week 1 game, but that's a win. They covered even. Everyone's like, looking, that was ugly by Kansas City, but there was not a moment where anyone in America thought they were going to lose last night.
Okay, but sitting on the lead, or this is what Kansas City did in the second half. Field goal, punt, field goal, end of the game.
You see a turnover in there? Yeah, that's amazing.
That's not what we're used to with the Kansas City Chiefs.
How many drives is that?
What was that?
Like
6? 1, 2, 3, 4.
They're
5.
slowing the game down.
Well, they also got, I mean, Mahomes, listen, if we want to play the process, not the results, Patrick Mahomes took a really bad sack when it kept him in field goal range, but barely to make it 19-8, to make it a 2-score game with about, 4.5 minutes left. And then the Broncos, Samaje Perine fumbles the ball on the Broncos' ensuing drive, and that just ended it.
See, you're a Bills fan, and you say we should run the ball and we should protect leads.
Yeah.
But I don't see when the Chiefs do it, you're not comfortable with it.
Because I think there's a difference between protecting the lead and just like, this wasn't that impressive to me. Because it's not like you're punting multiple times in the second half. It's not like they could move at will and they decided not to. It was like, I think that the Denver Broncos were actually stiffening up a little bit and kind of put up a better fight than maybe the Chiefs thought.
Did you? I didn't see the game that way. I thought the Chiefs, after Denver scored, the Chiefs just stormed down the field easily. I felt like Patrick Mahomes was in total control of the game the whole time. They just slowed it down. He's like, I'm not going to throw another interception.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess around. There's no way this team is scoring enough points to beat us. They do. So if you were trying to live bet that game, you were out of luck because the Chiefs had the game in control, and they've been doing this all season. They're handing the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco. He had 16 carries. When does a Chiefs running back get 16 carries? See, that's what the Bills should do. They should win 19-8 over the Broncos. That is a 11-point win in the NFL. Everyone's going to be like, oh, it doesn't look good for the Chiefs, but I think it looks pretty good.
The Chiefs have set the bar so high for what their offense can do. It's just weird to me when you have like you're setting up for a field goal and then Andy Reid is trying to get cute when it's like a 4th and 3 or whatever, and you try to run this trick play. It's like, you have Mahomes. Just go for it with Mahomes.
No, you're right. Andy Reid tried to keep viewers involved in the game with a couple trick plays.
Amazon.
With that double flea flicker thing, whatever. Like when their offense is rolling, Andy Reid was basically like, this is so boring. Let me try something here to keep this game interesting. And it didn't work because it wasn't interesting.
To get Al Michaels' attention?
Yeah. If Mahomes could play like this, you think it was bad last night, and he can hit, 14 different receivers? I think Kansas City is very dangerous. As a Bills fan, I'd be nervous about what I saw last night.
I'm always nervous about the Chiefs. Everyone should be nervous about the Chiefs. I mean, Mahomes, just pencil him in for the AFC Championship game every single year. The guy is incredible. So, yeah.
Here's the issue. You have a very high bar for what the Chiefs...
Super high bar for what the Chiefs do. I'm always looking for them to make the wow plays, crazy plays.
That is the old Chiefs. The new Chiefs handed to Isaiah Pacheco, and he runs like a demon. It's kind of interesting that they're transitioning to this more ball control. The Eagles are doing it, too. I don't know if you watch my Philadelphia Eagles, but they're not explosive at all this year, but they're winning by 11 every game.
I know. I always thought that was because they have a new offensive coordinator and they're still working it out. The Chiefs don't. Everything's the same for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, but they want a ball control. They're like, we don't have Tyreek Hill. We're just going to hold on to the ball. We're going to go first down, first down, first down. It's really a maturation of Patrick Mahomes. 30 for 40, 75%, 306 yards.
Back to Russell Wilson. I mean, what do you do if you're the Broncos? You got to get rid of him after this season. You can't keep him around with a young quarterback. 855-212-4CBS. For him to be the backup, $165 million guaranteed backup, doesn't work like that. 855-212-4CBS. Even the most humble person in the world, I don't think would be able to do something like that. And Russell Wilson still wants to play. He still wants to add to the Hall of Fame legacy and career and still build. He's not going to sit behind a rookie quarterback and be happy about that. 855-212-4CBS. A lot to do today. Pat Boyle producing this morning. Pat Boyle lost a bet to me about Taylor Swift. Not this week. Taylor was front and center last night. But I bet Pat Boyle that Taylor Swift was not going to be at the Minnesota Vikings game. Cha-ching. For losing that bet, Pat Boyle now has to wear Taylor Swift's shade of red lipstick later on in the show.
Such a garbage bet.
I mean, you made it.
Really such a garbage bet.
How so?
You were a loser from the moment you said Taylor Swift was showing up in Minnesota.
So what, you had insider information?
Now the internet. Yeah.
Well, the fact that no one had reported she was going to be there yet on a Friday morning, to me, said that she's not going to be there. But
that's because she's a fraudulent football fan.
Well, we know that.
She's a bad girlfriend. I don't care if they're playing in Minnesota or if they're playing in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Well, that's where Alabama is, but name any random Midwest city. I don't care if they're playing in Des Moines.
She should be there?
She should be there.
Oh,
This is such a fake relationship. That just solidified to me more than ever that this is a fake relationship. It's a publicity stunt. It's not like the Viking Stadium's nice. It's a beautiful, domed arena.
Yeah.
Air-conditioned, Beautiful facility.
Listen, she couldn't do it. She wasn't showing up to Minnesota. I love Minnesota, but she wasn't showing up there, and it was clear as a bell, which means you've got to wear the red lipstick.
Wait, if it's a fake, how is she talking to his parents so much? Like, that is...
They're in on
She's
it.
a billionaire.
Look at
like,
Donna
does she have to
Kelce.
sit there and talk to Travis Kelce's dad for an hour every night? That is... She doesn't have to do that.
She
That is
has
clear.
to do it for the camera.
She's got to do it for the camera.
Also, Donna Kelce is like...
Donna Kelce can't stand her.
She
That
can't
is very
stand her.
clear.
She
She
has tuned her
cannot
out.
stand her.
she might not be able to stand it.
She's chest bumping some random guy, and Donna Kelce's like golf clapping, like, I don't want any part of this. Get away from my son. I don't want your publicity stunt. She's a fake fan, bad girlfriend, because if she was a real supportive girlfriend, she'd get her ass to that Minnesota game. But
Can you
no, we're
imagine?
going to show up. We're going to show up when it's Kansas City, when it's nice and convenient.
Poor Donna Kelce has got to be flanked by Taylor Swift, fake relationship with her son on one side, and then Mahomes' wife on the other. I mean, that's a brutal way to watch a game.
Yeah.
Although Donna Kelce's getting a lot of shine for
She's
this.
going to start, you're going to find her at the link every Sunday watching the Eagles game. She ain't going to show up to that bleep show.
A lot of shine. What? Donna Kelce needs more shine. Wasn't she
Yeah,
on the
she's
field
got-
before the Super Bowl with both her sons playing in the Super Bowl? Yeah.
She's gotten a lot of glow.
She deserves a humanitarian award for having to put up with Patrick's wife, her other son Jackson doing his TikToks,
Yeah.
and now Taylor Swift and all the drama that she brings, and
Not
her fake
son.
fandom.
Yeah, wait.
Not
You're
her other
confusing
son,
the Mahomes
Jackson
family.
Mahomes. No, just the...
Sorry, Patrick's kid
I get
Jackson in the box, in the skybox,
Yeah.
doing TikToks.
Strangely makes sense. Yeah.
Patrick's wife and Taylor Swift. That's a trio from hell. And you know what? And this is such a stupid bet. I feel like I shouldn't have to put the red lipstick on.
Well, you're doing it.
Pat, this is your wrong story. You got to double down on Notre Dame versus USC this weekend. You're wearing your Notre Dame green. You're a huge Notre Dame fan. It's going to be raining. Aren't you so confident in the Irish?
Yeah, I am. We should double down, Maggie.
I'm not taking another bet. You're wearing the red
come
lipstick.
on.
I purchased the red lipstick for you yesterday at Walgreens. You're wearing it.
Well, I appreciate you opening up your purse strings for Walgreens lipstick,
It
but
costs 97 cents.
this is
lipstick.
garbage. This is garbage. Red lipstick on a man. Come on.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch Pat look like Steve Buscemi from Billy Madison.
Big nut guy.
That'll be later on. Glad I called that guy. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. We get it going here. Russell Wilson. He said it was unacceptable. He's right about that. His performance, bad last night. Doesn't even get to 100 yards passing. What do the Broncos do with him? More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead. Don't move. Haha.
All right, this show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it? Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Sometimes it's just a matter of talking things out so you can get a better understanding of what may be standing in your way, even if it's you.
Perloff, you know we've all been through some unpredictable times over the last few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. We're just having a spirited Isaiah Pacheco debate. I think the Chiefs are an interesting team because they handed the ball to Pacheco 16 times last night. Andy Reid would rather get root canal than hand the ball off 16 times.
He'd rather eat a plate of broccoli.
I think he did those trick plays last night, like the double reverse flea flicker and the fake field goal, because he was bored. I just think Andy Reid, I've watched him since I'm an Eagles fan, so I've seen him do this. He hates handing the ball off. He hates short passing. He wants to blitzkrieg on offense and let the defense stay out there for 40 minutes. I think it's really interesting that they've slowed the game down.
You know, it's like actors, like famous actors, where they say, like, I'll do 2 for you and 1 for me. Like 2 for the studio, like I'll do 2 Marvel movies, but then I want to do an indie film, you know, for myself because I'm an artist. That's Andy Reid. He's like, I'll give you 2 handoffs in the red zone, but I need to run a fake field goal for no reason whatsoever.
Absolutely.
When I could just go for it on a 4th and 2 or just punt the ball.
Al Michaels said that they met with Andy Reid, and Andy's Reid like, I got something for you.
Yeah, right. It's
like he's just like, he didn't need to do any of that stuff.
Honestly, if he didn't win as much, you could criticize him because it's like, that's your ego. That's not what the game was calling for. The game didn't need a fake field goal or the double reverse at all. You could just run plays and win the game.
I think it's interesting that we consider the Broncos won that game defensively and that the Chiefs are Travis Kelce had over 100 yards the first half. Everyone in the stadium, including Taylor Swift, knew the ball was going to him, and there was nothing they could do.
Yeah.
First down, first down, first down, first down. It was, I thought Patrick Mahomes was close to perfect, except for the interception, which was just pure arrogance by him. He's like, I'm going to still make this play. I'm not worried about the Chiefs at all. I'm a little impressed with the Broncos that they just showed up. I think you said earlier in the show, I mean, they knew they were on primetime TV. You cannot play with no effort on primetime TV.
Yeah, but what does that say about you? You know?
There's nothing to say. They should cut every single player on that defense and most of the players on offense.
I don't know. Cortland Sutton might still have a little value.
Oh, Cortland Sutton shows up last night.
Yeah.
I don't know about that guy. I mean, Jeudy is not productive at all. They try to get him involved. The first play they throw to him loses about 6 yards, and that's on Russ. I mean, come on.
Let's go to Andrew Bogish, who's got some headlines. Again, we'll play the Steve Smith sound for you, unless this is your update, Bogish.
Oh, no, I'm leaving that for you guys.
Okay,
that
thank you.
deserves an extended conversation.
We were hoping that you would take that for us.
Okay, then I can next time, but I was letting you guys have that bad boy.
Yeah, we will play that Steve Smith sound for you because it's as good as advertised. What do you got for us, folks?
Well, you hate to see it. All those regular season wins meaning nothing in October. The 104-win Braves bowing out in a DS for the second straight year. You can't say they didn't have their chances in Game 4 last night.
Again, the 2-2. He swings at a fly ball out towards deep left center field, back towards the gap. Phillies trying to get there. A leap and a catch of the wall by Rojas. He had just enough room. He went into the padded wall in left field, went up into the air and brought it down, and he robs the Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. leaving the bases loaded in the 7th. A call from Ben Ingram on Braves Radio.
What a shame.
Atlanta didn't score in the 9th either, despite first and third with nobody out. Their season finally ending 3-1. WTF, Brian Snitker.
We can do everything right and all that, and you start a series and, you know what, your offense doesn't get traction. You know, I mean, it can happen anytime. It happens in series over the course of the summer. But I don't know that we could have done anything any better or been more thorough in what we did with our time off.
Yes, we need to keep discussing how detrimental maybe this wild card bye is. His team scored just 8 runs in the series, the fewest they scored over any 4-game stretch this season.
Okay, we need a policy here. I don't think Rojas needed to jump on that dramatic play at the end. He could have just ran under the ball and caught it.
Yeah.
Much like Michael Harris when he doubled off Bryce Harper earlier in the game. So I feel like this is going down as one of the great plays in Phillies baseball history, at least our playoff history. But if he had just run under it and caught it, it wouldn't have even been a highlight.
Yes.
I think he made it a little more dramatic by jumping.
I would agree.
What do you think, Maggie?
Well, that also can be dangerous because you're trying to create a moment sometimes. It can take your focus away. You know, if they try to pull that kind of BS in the next round, it could come back to haunt them.
BS might be strong. I mean, he was running into the fence, but I thought it was a great play, and I actually had to turn the game off. I'm going to be totally honest. I was too stressed. That was ridiculous. The last 2 innings when the Braves had all those base runners, I was tortured.
But this is the crazy thing about Vaughn Grisham gets into this game with 2 on, bottom of the 9th. Braves season on life support. It's his first at bat since the middle of August. Like those kinds of things happening in baseball are things that make it maddening because you have this team that won over 100 games and you didn't have their best players up in when you needed them.
So I don't know why that was the case. I don't know where he was in September, but I think the bigger issue for the Braves, not the last, the days off before this round, the fact that they didn't play an important game. Most of the season because the AL East was so one-sided. So why wasn't Vaughn Grissom getting at bats randomly in September in case he had to play or to rest somebody else? Like why was he off the field for 8 weeks and then on this roster
I think
to hit in any big spot?
Guys were so hot and they were so good. I don't think you're taking dudes out of the lineup when they're going after and chasing after these monster numbers.
Well, here's a bigger issue. What do you do about the fact that the division winners didn't do anything? Is this a problem for Major League Baseball? Do they have to change the format that the 84-win Diamondbacks are playing the 90-whatever-win Phillies?
I don't think you do anything drastic. I think and I said this before this round started, there's no reason why they can't reseed after the wild card round. The Braves, as the 1 seed, should have gotten Arizona in this round. And it might have gone the same way. But we've got chartered flights. We've got plenty of hotel rooms. Like, logistically, we can do this. Finish the wild card round, do a quick reseed, and then go from there. I think that's the only thing that needs to be done right now. Because if you look around,
what's the advantage of winning your division?
Well, but there's baseball reasons why teams lost. The Dodgers started the skeleton of Clayton Kershaw and a guy named Bobby Miller in their first 2 important playoff games as the number 2 seed.
Yeah, don't make fun of Bobby Miller.
But they had the lesser pitcher in both of the first 2 games of that series.
That's true.
As the better seed. That's not the rest's fault. That's the way that they were built and the bad luck of injuries.
Well, is that the way they were built? That's not the way they were built.
Well,
How many guys do they have that are injured?
Dustin May and Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other guy, Urias,
Gosling.
is
Gosling.
gone because of all the accusations against him.
Oh,
So-
but he
Trevor
doesn't
Bauer.
count.
Yeah, he's been gone
What do
for
you mean
a
he
while.
doesn't count?
I mean, that was 2 years ago. He
He's
hasn't
gone-
been there for 2
gone
years.
for a while.
He doesn't factor into this year.
Was he on the payroll? I'm just curious.
I think he is.
Like
yes.
oh boy.
What do you do? So outside of reseeding, which I don't disagree with you there, Bogues. What else is there to do? Are you going to start letting 8 teams in now so that just to let the division winners and the top 4 teams, just so they're not rusty, they have to play and possibly get knocked out in the first round?
Don't you remember they were toying around with an idea that you get to pick your opponent?
Which I think is silly.
That is crazy. I kind of love it because talk about incentive, trash talk. I mean, building rivalries. Like if you're the number 1 seed, you get to handpick your opponent. That's going to create so much bad blood. I think it's awesome.
Which is why
It sounds a little XFL-y.
Yeah.
Like spring football league.
Listen, they're XFL. They've got massive bases. You can only do 2 pickoff moves. Like
Yeah.
Major League Baseball's
No,
trying everything
you're
right now.
It's not the worst idea I ever heard.
It's also what I don't understand is it's also not a bad thing. Like it's okay if the little guy wins sometime. Like I don't
That's
like
true.
everyone's so offended by this. Like just be better. None of those teams had to lose.
I agree.
In this round.
You're right.
I
And
agree.
also, I think basketball at times, except for I know we just had the Miami Heat as an 8 seed, went to the finals last season, but that's so rare that it's so chalk in basketball. This is great, I think, when you have upsets. That's why we like hockey playoffs,
right.
Well, I think that's why one of the reasons the NFL's been so popular since 2000 is parity.
One and done. And
Yeah, I think parity is good,
And
but
then-
this parity feels different than the NFL parity. I don't know why.
The baseball regular season just doesn't mean anything as long as you get into the playoffs. So
Yeah.
people need to stop crying about, oh no, the Braves had to wait 4 days and now they lost. Well, yeah, just be like Bogue said, be a better team.
Yeah.
Be better. You won 104 games in the regular season. The series itself is a best of 5. So if you lose 3, you're done. Oh well, that's the nature of October baseball.
Well, and it's hard to be like, oh, sorry, you got to rest and line up your pitcher exactly as you
Right.
wanted it. Like, we're crying for you now, as you're saying. I don't know.
They had some injuries too, but why does it feel like the Phillies were the more confident, better team too? If you watch that series from afar, you're like, oh, the Phillies are the high seed. The Braves look like the scrappy underdog.
Yeah.
They just did not show up.
Braves were chirping too with Arcia
Oh, yeah.
and then with the stuff we're seeing on the dugout with the fans. I mean, they were not focused, I thought, in this whole series, and that's what happens. I mean, Strider likes to talk, but I mean, he gave up 3 runs yesterday. That was the difference.
Yeah,
Folks,
but
what else
even
we
in
got?
game 1, he gave 3 runs or 2, however many were charged him. But they didn't hit.
Right.
He gave 3 solo homers. That's actually not a terrible start last
It's
night.
not,
They
but-
need to get offense.
Right.
And can we talk about the Braves radio announcers, I believe it was, getting salty about Harper doing the
The
throat
throat slash.
Yeah.
You knew that
Come
was going
on.
to tick people off.
Come on. How much of a hypocrite you want to be?
You mean not say anything about the famous tomahawk chop, for example?
I don't care about either, but you're gonna get salty over Harper doing a throat slash, and meanwhile your
there's
entire fan base does the tomahawk chop.
Oh, that there's an insensitivity toward.
lost. Get lost.
They're booing guys that get injured during the regular season. That's another thing. I mean, it comes back to bite you.
The only good thing they ever did down there was when they booed Marcelo Zuna when he had his
Yeah.
third police issue.
Yeah, the
but then
domestic
that
violence stuff.
lasted 72 hours.
One more thing I will say: the Phillies are a really good team. They were terrible in the first half of the season. Then everybody came back. And it's not like they lost to a bad team.
And that's the other thing. The Phillies had 90 wins. It
Yeah.
doesn't look great, but they're better than 90 wins.
Right. After the All-Star break, they were as good as anyone in the
Right.
league.
When you go Wheeler and Nola and again, why am I blanking on the third guy, the third starter?
Ranger Suarez? No.
No, I guess
Well,
it is.
Suarez
But
was
even Nola
awesome.
and Wheeler
Yeah.
start a series. That's a good place to begin. That you're going to win a lot of those head-to-heads, and you throw Harper in there. They're a very, very good baseball
Right.
team.
Like the Nationals, right? They just had those 2 starters. Well, all you need is 2 starters, and you
Yeah.
can beat anybody.
Yeah, Scherzer in Strasburg when they won. Yeah.
So the Braves can't score. Neither can the Broncos. 8 points, 197 yards in KC on Thursday Night Football. Andy Reid wants to give Sean Payton a hug.
My hat goes off to Sean and his group there. They're trying to build something right there, and that's they're working at it. And he's a good football coach. He's got a good staff and good players. So our hat goes off to them.
hat goes off to him like somebody just died.
It's like they're talking about the JV team. It's like, well, and our hat goes off. What an effort they put in tonight, guys. Can we clap? Let's clap for the effort. The Broncos. Wow. Hats off.
He sounds like Nick Saban when he beats Southeast Louisiana Tech 65-3 on September 2nd. He thanks him for showing up and
guys
trying
played hard.
Yeah.
That might be the low moment of the Broncos season right there. I didn't hear that. That is the saddest football quote I've ever heard in my life.
Reed also said his defense continues to be amazing, but his offense gave the ball away twice in the red zone, once on downs, once a pick. They scored just one touchdown, 4 Harrison Butker field goals for a 19-8 victory. Do you guys know what a scoregami is? Have you heard about this?
Oh, was this a scoregami?
It was not. I thought it would be, but once before, 1927, a game ended 19-8.
That hurts.
Who was that?
I don't know. I only saw the year.
Okay.
It was
Can I
Packers.
just say, there's nothing I care about less than the scoregami.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you just say like a little tickle down your spine?
Yeah.
Like, what does this do for you? A scoregami, by the way, is a score that we've never had before in the history of the league. This didn't even turn out to be a scoregami. I get no juice from this.
Yeah, the one sentence you just said is where I get the juice from. Like, we've never had a random 11-10 game before or whatever. I'm all in on that.
Sweet, yeah. So we never had as boring of a game as we did last night.
Well, they're not always boring.
By the way, any Broncos primetime game is always like 11-8 or 12-9.
Yeah.
There's never a normal score.
Unless the scoregami's like 49-43, I don't care.
This is the problem with the scoregami, and again, why I don't care. It doesn't tell you anything about the game. It's like it's a unique moment, but it doesn't say anything. It's not a trend. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't give you insight into anything.
I'm not looking for depth.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. Yeah, I just need the factoid. That's it. Deshaun Watson is a wimp or not a wimp? What did we decide on yesterday?
I think not a wimp.
Okay.
Tom Pelissero said yesterday that there's something internal in his shoulder that he's worried about. This is a quarterback who's paid $200 million. You're going to go out there and risk it with your shoulder?
Okay, so they said at first they thought it was a shoulder bruise, and then it turns out it was actually a rotator cuff contusion. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Shoulder bruise and rotator cuff contusion is essentially a bruise on the shoulder. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not calling him soft. I'm just saying it's rare, you'll agree with me on this, that quarterbacks get clear to play and decide and pull themselves off the field.
And we know about it.
I
and
have
we're
no
told
idea.
by
That's
the head
true.
coach that he was cleared to play.
Oh, and they
then
tried to clean that up afterwards, but the general manager.
Tom Pelissero said he couldn't throw the ball 10 yards before the game. Well, what are we talking about here?
Right, that was then. But now we're wondering, after your bye week and now coming out of the bye, is it still that bad? Like,
probably.
Okay.
Why would he? If Deshaun Watson could go out there and throw the ball 50 yards, why wouldn't he play? I don't think he can.
Okay, but even Deshaun Watson banged up, does it give you a better chance to win than PJ Walker?
Yeah, but this is not about toughness. This is a $230 million investment in a guy. If you had a pitcher who's like, my elbow hurts, well, tough it out.
No, here's the thing, though.
Get out of here. It's the same thing.
It wasn't the front office that pulled him off the field. It wasn't about the investment. If it was about the investment, the front office would have said, there's no way you're playing, or the coach would have said, there's no way you're playing. They said, you're cleared, and Deshaun Watson was like, no, I'm not playing. He protected himself, which is fine,
Because he knows he's got this huge investment, and he's like, I'm not going to screw over this fan base and go out there with an injured shoulder and do like Aaron Rodgers and blow out the whole thing. No, I think for a quarterback with a shoulder issue, you got to listen to him, right? I mean, it's
fine, and they did listen to him.
Moneymaker.
It's what's odd is them telling us that he was cleared to play, and then I want to know if he can only throw the ball 10 yards. How was he cleared to play if his arm was that limited? Just like things just don't line up.
Yeah.
Things don't line up with the Cleveland Browns. That sounds familiar, actually.
So just another day is what you're telling us. 855-212-4CBS. Thank you, Andrew Bogish. Coming up, we do have this sound from Steve Smith. Steve Smith Sr., the former wide receiver, took a blowtorch to Jerry Jeudy before the game. You're going to hear what he had to say next. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. You know, it was a tough night for a lot of people last night. Why can't they give Al Michaels a good game? What's going on here, Maggie? Help our guy out. Everybody loves Al Michaels. This is not good. Last night's game, that was a bad bad football game.
It was not good, and I think the Broncos were a big reason. I mean, listen,
I agree.
The Broncos defense definitely showed up, looked a little bit more spry for sure, but their offense gets nothing going. And maybe we should have known from the very beginning, because before the game even started, Perloff, you had Steve Smith Sr., the former wide receiver, who is now with NFL Network. He's doing like a preview of the game on the field. And he starts telling this story about how he wanted to go over to Jerry Jeudy because he had been critical of Jeudy on his podcast. Apparently, Steve Smith's got a podcast. Who doesn't? And he wanted to go over to him to like apologize for calling him just a guy. So that's how it started.
The word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy. Just a guy. And so when I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't know where he got the Judy's playing well. I guess he had come off of the game against the Jets where he had like 50 yards receiving.
Yeah, he was the leading receiver on the team with 52 yards.
Yeah, that's not exactly blowing the doors off. But last night, Jeudy, 3 catches, 14 yards, 3 catches on 5 targets. Anyway, so Jeudy was apparently not in the mood. Didn't want to hear it from Steve Smith. So then Steve Smith went at Jeudy with a blowtorch.
I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you? I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
Whoa. First of all, are teams calling Steve Smith to ask about wide receiver trades?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, come on. I think Steve's, overvaluing himself a little bit here.
A big Steve Smith fan. I think I would call him, because if I could have bottles, whatever Steve Smith had, and give that to Jerry Jeudy, oh man, I love Steve Smith. I think teams would call Steve Smith. Why not?
I don't know. Not that Jerry Jeudy's
it's kind of
play,
random, right?
Not that Jerry Jeudy's play needs the defending, but come on. Steve Smith's calling him just a guy trash talking him. Like, if I see Steve Smith trying to walk up to me on the field, I'm be like, dude, I don't want any part of talking to you. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you think it was okay for Jeudy to blow him off?
I guess it depends on what was said. Like, if Steve Smith was like approaching me like, hey man, like, I just want to let you know I'm sorry, and then Jerry Jeudy says, you know what, go F yourself, and then I can understand him going off on him. But if he's walking up to him and Jerry Jeudy's like, I don't want anything to do with you, talk to you right now, and then Steve Smith like doesn't even try to offer the apology and instead just turns around and does that.
Yeah. You're familiar with Steve Smith, right? You realize, I mean, this is somebody who I don't think is going to give benefit of the doubt to anybody, right? It's like Jeudy blew him off. That equals you just disrespected me. And now what do I have at my disposal? A microphone and a camera. Goodbye.
I think anybody with, a pair of eyes, though, can see that Jerry Jeudy has a lot of talent and has not been with a good offense, has not been with a good quarterback.
No. I 100% disagree. There's something, if you watch a lot of Broncos, there's something wrong with him. There's so many interceptions where like, how come Jeudy wasn't in that spot? Like, he is a weirdly negative player. And last night you saw it too. There were so many negative plays involving him. The Broncos get rolling, then Jeudy makes a mistake. There's a lot of things that don't show up in the stat line that are completely wrong with Jerry Jeudy. And I know every Bronco fan feels that way. There's not a single Bronco fan who stands up for Jerry Jeudy that I've ever seen.
No, his stock is as low as it could possibly be, considering he was the 15th overall pick in 2020. But I guess here's the thing, right? To Pat's point, did Steve Smith have to like kick him while he's down? We all know Jeudy has not lived up to the expectation, but I didn't think Steve Smith can be any other way, right? Like, you can take the guy off the field, but you're not going to take you can take the guy off of football, but you're not going to take football off of the guy. Like, that's just enough to get Steve Smith riled up.
I hear you. I think the reason Steve Smith is riled up, and I'm riled up, is we all know Jerry Jeudy has tons of talent, and he is one of those players who just his effort does not meet the talent, which is probably, it's better to stink and do badly, like the Broncos, the rest of the Broncos, to be really good and do really badly and to hurt your team time and time again. That's what I've seen, because I kind of weirdly rooted for the Broncos over the years. I have no idea why. Case Keenum was there, so I watched him really closely, and he wasn't there with Jeudy. But I watch his team, and there's something deeply wrong with them. It's a
flawed.
character issue.
No, with Jeudy, but it's a flaw. I don't know about the character.
No, the
thing.
whole team.
You're talking about the whole thing.
I think the whole team has a lack of effort problem. Last night they tried, but generally all season long, they should not be this bad.
It's just so funny because you don't think of the Broncos as a loser franchise, right? Because Elway and Peyton Manning at the end, and they've had so much success, but it's like they've been a revolving door at quarterback and at head coach, quite frankly, ever since Peyton Manning walked out of the building.
Nope. They haven't had a winning season.
Crazy. 855-212-4CBS. Coming up later, Pat Boyle's going to wear red lipstick a la Taylor Swift because he lost a bet. Also, is this Notre Dame Super Bowl this weekend against USC? Lots to do. Stay with us.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff, the new morning show right here on CBS Sports Radio, reacting off of what was a kind of bizarre game, I guess, last night between the Chiefs and the Broncos. This is one of the worst statistical games that Russell Wilson has ever had as a starter in the NFL.
What? That's impossible. Last year, he had all sorts of bad games.
This was like 5th lowest passer rating of his entire career. He didn't even top 100 yards. I mean, that is wild.
Didn't he lose 12-9 to the Colts on national TV in the same spot last year? That was the worst game I've ever seen him play.
Well, last night was pretty bad. I mean, the 2 picks, one of them was egregiously his fault. The other one got tipped.
Egregiously his fault. Mm-hmm. Who was he throwing to?
Well, okay, Perloff.
He threw to Jerry Jeudy, who definitely ran the wrong route.
He definitely threw it right to the linebacker. Listen,
yes,
Russ
because
himself said it was
he thought
bad.
the receiver was going to be right where the linebacker was going to be, but that's besides the point. What I worried about was Russell Wilson got his passes tipped all game long, which I thought Sean Payton could help a short quarterback not get his passes tipped. But Sean Payton wasn't helping with that at all last night.
You know what? You're right. There were 4 batted balls down at the line of scrimmage or near the line of scrimmage, and I thought that as well. And then on the broadcast, I did not know this, that apparently the Chiefs are like leading the league in batted passes. So I'm like, all right, maybe it's not just Russ and him being short. Maybe this Chiefs defense is just particularly has a nose for this.
Yeah, I mean, Karlaftis is really good at it, obviously. Chris Jones dominated that entire game. So let's talk about the Chiefs' red zone struggles for a second.
1
I have
for
a theory.
5 in the red zone last night.
So usually we're not used to this. The Chiefs typically don't get to the red zone that much. For years, they had explosive plays with Tyreek Hill. But right now, they're saying to themselves, hey, we got a weapon at running back in Isaiah Pacheco.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes is completely masterful in the short game. Let's have long offensive drives and help our defense out. It is completely un-Chiefs-like. It's un-Andy Reid-like, but that's the way they're winning these games rather easily. So I think they have a new philosophy. They're never even in the red zone. They're at the 8-yard line. First and goal at the 8 is a hard place to convert. The old Chiefs with Tyreek Hill never had that situation because they would just hit you with a 50-yard touchdown. So they are conservative. That's why they're struggling in the red zone, because they are doing these long 10-yard play, 10-yard play, 10-yard play. Let's bleed the other team out. I think it's a completely different Chiefs team. I think that's why they have the red zone problems.
Okay, but you have one of the best quarterbacks, if not one of the best to ever play.
Right, and he's completely controlling the game masterfully.
Okay, but that's all well and good if you want to bleed clock and you want to help your offense, but at some point you're going to
defense.
Your defense. But at some point you're going to have to get into a game where you're going to have to actually score touchdowns instead of win by field goals. And last night was fine. You can kick whatever they did, 5 field goals last night to win the game, whatever it was. 4. But here's the thing. That's not going to work all the time. That might not work against your Philadelphia Eagles, which happens in November. That might not work against the Miami Dolphins. That game's in Germany, which is kind of weird. But.
Right now, if I'm playing Miami, I am using that strategy 100%. Keep that Miami offense off the field. Keep that Eagles. The Eagles are going to try and do the same thing.
Okay.
That's what your Buffalo Bills should do. That's what champions do. They win with defense and running.
I know, but if you have no explosives or if that's very difficult and that's not going to be a part of your game. At some point when you play these better offenses, of which the Broncos are terrible offense, once you start playing some of these better offenses, yes, game control, clock control, all of that, but at some point you're going to have to make explosive plays. I don't think you walk away from this if you're a Chiefs fan and say, oh, we went 1 for 5 in the red zone. We got them exactly where we want them. Nobody's saying that.
What was the explosive play they missed last night? Show me the long pass that Patrick Mahomes threw that was a miss. There was one interception that the ball got, whatever. He was about to get tackled. He just threw it away.
No, he didn't throw it away. He should have thrown it away.
Right.
He threw it right to the other team. You're making it out to be like I'm a Chiefs hater. I'm not. I think that they're going to be fine. I think Rashee Rice is probably going to be, catching a touchdown in the Super Bowl by the time this whole thing is done. But it does look different.
Yeah,
and whether it's by design or whether it's because they are lacking the ability to make explosive plays, I'm not sure yet.
And everyone says Travis Kelce's the only weapon, but look how many guys caught passes last night. Rashee Rice with 4, Pacheco, Sky Moore, Jared McKinnon, Noah Gray, Kadarius Toney, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They are throwing the ball all over the place, and Mahomes seems to like that. He's comfortable with it. He was 30 for 40 last night. He was completely in control of the game. Like not for 1 second. They were up 16-0 in the fourth quarter. Not for 1 second did I think the Chiefs were in trouble last night.
Okay, that might be so, but they also couldn't punish their opponent. And this was an inferior opponent who the Broncos are feeling good about themselves this morning because they're saying, we only lost by 11 to the defending champs. Like, you can't feel good about your offense if your opponent feels like they walked away with a moral victory.
I think that is not the right mentality. I think the W is all that matters. Now, they've had a lot of close games, but every game's playing out the same way. They're up, they're bleeding the clock, They let the other team score at the end to make it seem close, and it's not really that close.
Well, I don't know if you can keep that kind of thing up. It's one thing when you're playing at the Jets, you're playing at Minnesota, you're playing these, the Broncos, you're playing teams that aren't going anywhere.
Well, you're not going to hand the ball to Isaiah Pacheco 17 times against the Eagles.
No, but you're saying that's what they should do.
Well,
bleed the clock and run the ball.
Well, I'm
that's
sorry.
exactly
you're
what
right.
you just said.
You're right. But I'm saying if you're leading, you do that. But if you need to get into a shootout, then you're going to start passing the ball more. So they have the capability to do that. But I don't think they should do that just to prove a point that they can still have explosive plays. When you're up double digits in the fourth quarter, I think they're doing the right thing. They're managing the game to win. And I think Mahomes looks completely comfortable. I didn't think there was a second last night where Patrick Mahomes looked like, hey, I don't have this game exactly where I want it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they won really big against the Bears. You know that they're capable when it's an inferior team. Like the Bears, they weren't playing with their food. The Bears, they stomped them 41-10. Like if they wanted to do that, I think that it is something in the red zone. I think it'd be hard to look at them. It's like they're like 12th in the NFL in terms of red zone touchdown percentages. It's not like this game was an anomaly. They're middle of the pack when it comes to scoring in the red zone.
Right, because they're stuck at the 7 and 8 yard line, which never happened before. It used to be a 50-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. Then you didn't even have to worry about the red zone.
Well, but they won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill, so I feel like you can't really mourn that anymore, you know?
Well, listen, they're 5-1, and they didn't have Kelsey in week 1. Or did they have Kelsey?
No, they did not.
Yeah,
Against
so they
the
didn't have
Lions.
They didn't have Kelsey, and they were totally screwing around in that game too. I don't know why people are worried about the Chiefs' offense because all that matters is a win. It's not college football where somebody's sitting in a committee and saying this was an impressive win. There are no style points, and they covered last night. And last night was one of the easiest wins they've ever had. There was not a point in the game where the Broncos threatened to actually walk away with the W. I know they got within one score at 16-8.
They did.
But nobody thought that, Russell Wilson's going to get the ball back in his hands and do a touchdown drive. It was not going to happen.
Well, and Samaje Perine ends up fumbling.
Of course.
And they were already down 2 scores at that point. But he does end up fumbling, and that really extinguished any faint hope that the Broncos may have had. But you mentioned it about Russell Wilson, and this is the quagmire that the Denver Broncos, who made their own bed here, that they find themselves in. You got enough of a sample size to realize that Russell Wilson is never going to be the rising tide that lifts the boats anymore. However, he gets paid like he is Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow rolled into one. And that's just it's a terrible hit on your salary cap. There's no easy exit. There's not a graceful exit here. Or if there is, I haven't found it yet. Because the Broncos have to start over with a new quarterback next year, Perloff, because it's likely they're going to have a high pick. And you can't have a $50 million quarterback sitting on the bench being a quote-unquote mentor to the next guy.
So what do you do?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's no graceful exit. I think at some point you have to trade him for peanuts and cents on the dollar, or you end up having to cut him and take a dead cap hit. I have no idea.
No one's going to take that contract.
But you have to load it up a little bit. Like you eat a lot of the money,
But-
you attach a draft pick.
The money's no problem. They're the richest team in the league. I think the cap space is why
that's
it's going
what
to
I'm
be
talking
really
about.
hard to trade him.
No, they gave him $125 million guaranteed at signing. Like
Yeah.
they.
No, it's not the money,
It's
but
not the money; it's the hit on the salary cap.
yeah,
of
I don't
course.
think you can. I don't think any team is going to take that on. I think you have to cut him, which is fine. Cut him post June 1. But even that, I don't think that's going to solve all the problems Denver has. There seems like there's something much deeper going wrong with this franchise than Russell Wilson. That's why I don't think this is killing Russell Wilson's Hall of Fame chances. His numbers are still, if you look back and you didn't watch the games, you're like, oh, he's having 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It's like good Russell Wilson year. So I think he's going to survive this legacy-wise. I think the problem is actually deeper. I think it's the whole team.
But like, where does Russ go? What team is like, you know what? I can reclaim Russ. I can make this work.
It's going to be like a Carolina, some team that is bad.
I know. So how's that going to help the legacy? How's he going to build on it? Like,
I know, but
I think it's over.
This happens to a lot of guys. Listen, I mean, look at Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers or any of these guys who get too old at their current team and move on. They try and find a next home. It happens to all good quarterbacks, even the great ones. Like they ended their careers in funny uniforms. Joe Montana happened to work out in Kansas City.
Right.
Tom Brady happened to work out in Tampa Bay in a big way. But I don't know. Let's say he goes to the Titans next year, and Mike Vrabel finds a way to win 9 games with him. That could work.
do you think Russell Wilson is a Mike Vrabel kind of quarterback? I mean, Vrabel's a defensive guy anyway, but
Yeah, no, I do, because Russell Wilson.
But why wouldn't they start over with a young quarterback? Like, what?
They've been drafting 100 of them because they might draft a guy and bring in Russell. They'll probably be 15 or 12, 13, 14. But they've been drafting guys. They drafted Levis last year, Malik Willis the year before.
Yeah, not in the first round though. These guys been a little bit more flyers.
Yeah, but are you sure that you have so many teams getting quarterbacks? How many teams? I mean, you have the Giants and the Cardinals and the Bears, and every other team is getting a quarterback before the Titans anyway. It's not like it's a guarantee they're getting a superstar.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. If you want to watch the show where Maggie's Karaoke Pants says, is it possible that KC was protecting their playbook and strategies by playing like they did last night?
1,000%.
Okay, then why try the trick play stuff? Why not save that for when you might actually need them?
Because they're not good plays.
The fake field goal, like, come on. You didn't need to do it.
Actually, the fake field goal was kind of irrelevant.
They tried the tush push. So they tried to do a fake. They were lined up for the field goal.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, here comes Gray, goes under center, and they try to quickly do the tush push to gain 2 yards, and they couldn't get 2 yards.
And he may or may not have fumbled it in there, too. There was somebody grabbing for the ball. Yeah, that was ugly. Andy Reid was bored. He's like, if you're going to make me hand the ball off, he said this to his fellow coaches, if you're going to make me hand the ball off all game, then I'm trying trick plays.
It's like his blood sugar gets low or something. This was also funny. 855-212-4CBS, by the way, if you'd like to weigh in on Russell Wilson's future or this game. Maybe Chiefs fans want to defend their offense here. But Sean Payton, at one point in the broadcast, his play sheet got broadcasted out to America. And so now, like, generally we can kind of see some of the play sheet stuff when they hold it up over their mouths, like the Cheesecake Factory menu, to cover their mouths. But this was like clear as day. You got all the audibles. You've got everything. I mean, you have a mini bye now? Do you have to go back to the drawing board and change everything now?
100%. But that happens when you change players leave and go to the other team, like Trey Lance with the Cowboys. But it did dawn on me once again that I think we talk a lot about football, and I'm not sure that we all understand exactly how play calling works, because I'm looking at this thing, this is in Greek. There's a set of plays there's a set of plays here that is 50 gun flex left tackle off quiz radio or something. And these words make no sense. And there's a lot of plays. And I understand now why Russell Wilson has to go to the armband.
Yeah,
which they also showed.
They were begging him to go to the armband. And the armband looks like every single play in NFL history was on that armband.
And by the way, every single play that they ran, Sean Payton, there wasn't a single wide receiver open. Nothing worked. There was whatever Sean Payton magic had in New Orleans. Russ, you could see the camera behind Russell Wilson. There wasn't a guy with an inch of separation to throw to the entire night. That's the other thing, too. The offense looks stale. Peyton looks like the game is passing by so far.
Well, and it's funny.
5-6 games.
To me, and again, like I'm not miss all 22, but it seemed like there was a lot of single coverage there too.
Really?
And
Oh my God, where?
was there
On third down?
No, with the Broncos receivers, weren't they? They were kind of like Spagnuolo, the defense coordinator for the Chiefs, I thought was kind of putting his guys a little bit on the island, and the Broncos wide receivers still couldn't get open. Again, I'm not missed all 22, but that's what it looked like to me.
Oh, I thought that they dropped in the zone a lot, and Russell was like, oh man, I have nowhere to go. I thought Russell had nobody to throw to. Do Sutton and Jeudy ever really even get open?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they would stop it on the broadcast and be like, this guy's covered, this guy's covered, this guy's covered, this guy's covered. Like, they just couldn't get any separation.
Yeah, they're not good. Nobody's
That's
good.
why.
There. The whole team, and also the offensive line got manhandled by Chris Jones single-handedly.
So Patrick Mahomes, Pete, can we play cut 3, was asked if there's a sense of urgency to improve the offense.
I think there's always a sense of urgency. I mean, I think you ask offensive guys in the locker room right now, and they're going to say that we didn't play our best. We could have done a lot of things better. But like I said, we're lucky enough that the defense is playing so good, special teams are playing so good that we can still win football games. And I still feel like at times when it's most needed, the guys are making the plays.
It is interesting. Usually the way the Chiefs season has gone with Mahomes is like the offense is way ahead of the defense, and then somehow by the end of the season, the defense is representative enough to get them to the Super Bowl or whatever. This is the flip side. The defense is definitely ahead of the offense.
I disagree because I think the offense is helping out the defense by having long drives.
Gotcha.
So that's just my theory that they work in tandem. You're absolutely right about usually it's like, oh, all of a sudden the Kansas City secondary can play a little bit, although they did win a shootout last year. So they play the Chargers next.
Yeah.
I think if Kansas City wants to get explosive, they can. I just think the person in the chat nailed it. They're just holding back. We're going to win this way. I credit them. I think your Buffalo Bills should watch last night's game and say that's what we should be.
I know. The problem is the Bills have lost 2 All-Pros on defense and maybe some more. They don't exactly have everything clicking personnel-wise on defense.
Well, that's another reason. Slow the game down. We don't have a defensive guys. Let's not storm down the field and put the defense out there for 45 minutes. That's another reason. Slow the game down, Maggie. Hand the ball off.
There's nothing that infuriates me more, or any fan really, than a 3-and-out. I mean, it's just the most, especially when your defense is playing well, for the offense to go out and go 3-and-out is so demoralizing.
Yeah, everyone's saying the Eagles are less explosive this year now that Shane Steichen's in Indianapolis, but they are controlling the clock and they're winning football games. I think we...
Yeah, because they can run the brotherly shove every other play.
I know. It's their key strategy. I think we should look at the results. It's a win-loss business, Maggie. It's not about how did I look on Thursday Night TV. That was a tough one. Did you watch the LeBron shop at all?
I didn't. I just saw the little clips that they were kind of dropping into the broadcast.
I thought they didn't publicize it that much. Like, for some reason, I was very frustrated last night because I was in the Amazon app and I was trying to watch the Phillies game, and then I put one on my computer, and then there was a college game, West Virginia, Houston.
Yep.
It was a lot to handle, but nobody told me about the LeBron thing until the third quarter. I totally forgot.
Well, Will Ferrell apparently was on it.
Yeah, late in the game.
Okay.
But they had Lil Dicky, who's my favorite. I would have watched him anywhere, and he did the Philadelphia Mount Rushmore of sports with Kevin Hart. I wish I had seen it live.
Surprised nobody, you didn't get a bat signal or something.
Yes, I did. Afterwards, everyone was tweeting me. Like, they're talking Philly sports on the shop. But
LeBron couldn't have been there, though.
Yeah, he was definitely there.
He was?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, the season
he
starts,
was kind of, he was so chill. It was like
they did this last year.
Did they? Okay.
Did.
I didn't remember.
Yeah.
It was basically LeBron is now a dad. He is a middle-aged dad, and it's amazing. He's just sitting on his couch watching sports. He's me, basically.
I think LeBron also just wants to get to the second career as a broadcaster. I don't know if he'll do it. The great ones like that, I don't know if he would actually be a broadcaster, but clearly he's comfortable on the shop. He likes to get his opinions. He likes to make NFL picks. Let's give him a show.
He seemed really relaxed.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's like the best side of LeBron because he's not talking about sports, and he's pretty humble up there too. That's the other thing too. He doesn't seem like a cocky guy, which is weird. Maybe I'm totally being fooled. Am I? Is he?
I mean, I don't know. It's still a TV show.
Yeah.
Careful. It's not real life.
Will Ferrell looked a little uncomfortable. He was wearing the Ricky Bobby. Did you guys watch that? He was wearing the Ricky Bobby thing. He didn't have much to say the entire time. He's done how many second screens has he done in the last 2 months?
Quite a bit. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We're told that the Twitch chat today is really robust. Pat, are you all over the Twitch?
Yes. Yeah, those are my people. I know you guys, the YouTube, the Weedos, and the coffee drinkers, they are a big contingent, but the Twitch chat is bussing on a daily basis.
Right.
So
I got to get over to Twitch now. I'm going to come over to Twitch.
They are very passionate, and my good friend Marie in Denver is very excited for this lipstick application that's going to be happening, and I don't know. I think I'm backing out of it.
Is Marie the Pat Boyle super fan? I've heard about.
Yes.
It. Yeah. And what happened? Fill me in when you went to DA's backyard or Mraz's
backyard for the Bob's Bar show.
Yeah. And you had to take your shirt off?
Yep. She was supposed to. It was oil Boyle. She was going to put oil on me in a massage since she was such a big fan.
Yeah.
And then she broke her leg, I think, or broke her foot and was not able to attend the show. So then that transformed into, okay, whoever travels the furthest. And it happened to be a 69-year-old man, Gordon, from Vancouver.
And who got the oil?
Oh, yeah. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Okay. Have you ever met Marie?
No.
Okay.
Not in person.
Have you ever seen Marie?
On Twitter, not in person.
Okay.
She does exist.
Are we sure?
We're positive.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it. I'm parachuting in here.
I see what your question is.
I'm parachuting in. I just want to make sure that Boyle's not getting catfished by somebody who's actually, Bill and,
well,
Wichita.
Listen, I give you credit, though. What was the guy from Vancouver's name?
Gordon.
Yeah. I mean, Pat sat there. I saw the video and gladly got oiled down by Gordon. It seemed lovely.
Listen, you took that like a champ, but meanwhile, you're whining about having to wear lipstick when you lost the bet fair and square.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's such garbage. It's because I lost the bet because Taylor Swift didn't bother to show up for a game.
I know. You were so convinced she was going to go to Minnesota, and I told you that was a no-go.
I still think you had insider information on that. Like, I think we have to void the bet. I don't want to. I'm not doing it.
What does Marie say?
Marie wants me to put lipstick on.
All right. Marie, you're going to get your wish. 855-2124-CBS. A lot going on, including a potential rock bottom that could be coming for one team this weekend. We get to that in just moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
The thing about ethics. The thing about ethics.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I'm excited. Maggie in the break said she's got something fun for me, so share.
Well, I was a little surprised by this last night as, around on the social media. And I came across a TikTok of this woman who was on a first date with a guy. And he took her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Lovely.
She refused to get out of the car. She said that she refused to get out because he's taking her to a chain restaurant on a first date. And she basically chastises him, and he's trying to come to the other side of the door and open it up for her and, trying to be a gentleman, but she's, so incensed that they're, insulted that he would be taking her to the Cheesecake Factory. She won't get out of the car. And then he gets back in the car and he goes, well, I think that you and I probably have, different expectations for how this is going to go, so I'm going to take you home now. And she was like, wait a minute, the date's over? And he abruptly canceled the date, and that was it. And I was just like,
good for him.
Yeah, who thinks they're above the Cheesecake Factory? How dare you? Cheesecake Factory rocks. That place is so appropriate for a first date.
It's a place for families that drive Camrys and go to Disney.
Raise your hand. Listen, that cheesecake is so good. I will stand for Cheesecake Factory. I love it.
That was a Drake lyric reference in case anybody didn't get that.
I did not.
Yeah, I did.
Wrong room, Boyle. Wrong room.
We love Drake, but
was the Olive Garden too crowded? What happened there?
you don't think there's a little bit of a difference?
I feel like Cheesecake Factory is in the upper echelon of chain restaurants. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
Which you put higher, P.F. Chang's or Cheesecake Factory?
Cheesecake Factory.
I like P.F.
I
Chang's.
go P.F. Chang's.
But I think they're right about the same. And listen, there's nothing wrong with the Olive Garden either, by the way.
No,
I just think
Olive Garden stinks.
But we're lucky. We're lucky. We live in a place that has a lot of reasonably priced Italian restaurants.
Right.
Not everyone has that same kind of access,
Oh boy.
I think though you can judge somebody for taking you to Cheesecake Factory on a first date, but you gotta get out of the car and go into the restaurant.
That's totally ridiculous, though. Not like he took her to Burger King.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a
Thank
fast food
you.
restaurant. Nothing against Burger King. I love Burger King.
So
Probably
do
get
we.
it today. But it's. I mean, come on. And he was a gentleman about it too. He could have just left her and said, "Hey, get a ride home."
I know.
Snobby Bogish has a problem with Cheesecake Factory on the first date.
Listen, if somebody was trying to court me and they took me on the first date to Cheesecake Factory, it's not a plus. It's not a positive.
See, I'm going the opposite way.
Nobu?
I'm going the opposite way. I think the fact that the Cheesecake Factory menu has literally everything under the sun every food item that's ever been thought up is on that menu is nice for a first date because I don't know your tastes. you want to eat a salad? Do you want a piece of salmon? If you want whatever, you can get at the Cheesecake Factory. I think it's a nice thing to do. It's a variety.
I think, by the way, I thought young people don't go on first dates to restaurants anymore because it's so easy to get a first date with Tinder that you want to get coffee or a drink first and don't waste it on dinner. So I thought
Perloff's got it.
Yeah, there is no more dinner first date.
This is Pat's religion, is not going out to eat on
Oh,
a first date.
Trust me, I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I live in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is like the median age is like 28.
Yeah.
So I'm right in the middle there. And I've gone
First dates all over the place.
The first year I went on 2 first dates. Well, the first 2 dates I went on, I went out to dinner. And I'm just looking for something casual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean there? And I think that they thought I was looking for a relationship. That's not the case. That's not the message you're trying to send.
So you set them up. It's like you're basically Taylor Swift sitting next to Donna Kelsey if you take somebody to dinner.
Yeah.
It's escalating very quickly.
Drinks, coffee, something very casual.
Yeah. I mean,
you
most
go to
guys
dinner,
would pick-
you're sending the message, hey, I'm looking to get in a relationship.
Also, most guys would pick beers, obviously. Like, hey, let's go to a sports bar and get pitchers. Like, that's the ideal. I hate to say it, that's the ideal first date.
Let's lower your inhibitions as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. No. It's not that. I said sports bar, so at least I was being classy here.
Yeah, you're going to take it to Cheesecake Factory. You're going to walk into Matty O'Hooligans. It's this. I think Cheesecake Factory is perfectly fine.
Well, this story is so stupid because obviously they could have worked it out on the drive over. Like they had this argument in the Cheesecake Factory parking lot.
Yeah.
Before they decided to go on a date, maybe. Hey, we're gonna take you out.
They clearly met online, right?
Yeah, unless he was like, I got this special place I want to take you that nobody knows about. Then he showed up to Cheesecake Factory. Then it's like, all right, maybe you misrepresented yourself.
Okay, one more thing. You're hoping that the date goes in a certain way if you're a guy that is successful. Like, does the Cheesecake Factories mean sexy? Hey, let's have a gigantic piece of cheesecake, then let's get down.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Let's present as much dairy as humanly possible, and then let's hit it.
I don't know if you're setting up the right atmosphere with the Cheesecake Factory. I think it's too
Honestly,
much food.
After you eat that slice of cheesecake, just give me the sweatpants and let me go to bed because I feel like a whale.
But even before dessert, every entree there is huge too. You're not leaving there light on your feet.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah. You know what? Well, I'm not going to get it. But if you eat a huge meal, you don't feel sexy.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Am I right,
You're not
Pilati?
breaking out any crazy positions if you're having sex after Cheesecake Factory. You're going belly to belly, missionary. Like, let's be honest.
Belly to belly. Like
leave
it's
a little
John,
for imagination.
Like it's a John Sterling phone, home run call, back to back and belly to belly. The back to back would be kind
You're
of
not
weird.
trying anything crazy because there's a lot of carbs in your gut.
Yeah.
You're not moving around very swiftly.
You're more likely to unbuckle your belt at the dinner table than you are afterwards. Like, this is not.
It's like he unbuckled his pants at the table. We got back to his apartment. He was fully clothed the whole time.
Wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah, right. Where were we? Headlines.
Yeah,
Good morning,
the
folks.
Chiefs, they still have not lost since their 1-point opening night defeat at the hands of the Lions. 5 wins in a row after a 19-8 slugfest with the Broncos at Arrowhead on Thursday Night Football. But those 19 points are the issue. The KC offense still not at full speed, but that's okay for Patrick Mahomes.
Guys are making plays when it counts, but as we continue on the season, we have to continue to get better and better so that hopefully when we get to the playoffs, we're hitting our stride and we can really kind of match our defense as far as intensity.
Mahomes threw for 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 red zone pick, 9 catches for $124 for Travis Kelce on that bad ankle, and Harrison Butker drilled 4 field goals, all while the Chiefs' defense smothered those Broncos. Just 197 yards of offense, 95 of those off Russell Wilson's right arm. He also threw 2 picks. KC has won 16 in a row head-to-head, and its last 12 AFC West games.
By the way, I would want a quarterback who goes 30 for 40 with 306 yards. And I was like, man, that offense was struggling. Do you realize that for most quarterbacks, that's maybe one of the top 5 games of their career? 30 for 40, people. 306 yards. Why is everyone complaining?
I know, but
all he did was throw receptions all over the field all night long.
But sometimes that can be a bit of a defensive strategy. You've heard of the bend, don't break.
Yeah, well,
you
the
can
Broncos
allow a lot of yards, but then when you get into the red zone, you know your back stiffens up, and they were 1 for 5 in the red zone.
Well, because they kept getting the red zone because they couldn't get an explosive play or they didn't want explosive plays. But don't you think Denver wanted their offense back on the field at some point? Don't you think Denver's defense wanted to make a play or another pick or something?
I'm surprised you're stunned that people are like criticizing the Chiefs' offense. They scored 1 touchdown.
Also, they went
and Mahomes has had like one bad pick a game this year.
Yeah, but I mean,
he hasn't been
went,
great.
I believe they went 4 for 13 on third down. This was not
yeah,
like
but they
this
didn't,
awesome
they weren't,
banner.
They weren't getting to third down because they would throw a 10-yard pass on first down every play. They just took exactly what he was 30 for 40, 306 yards.
But if
So
they
they had 13 opportunities on third down. They
Yeah.
converted 4 of them. It's not like they were really blowing.
Yeah,
the
but they
doors
had 22 first downs on the game. So that's 18 first downs that weren't on third down. They weren't even getting to third down because they were just zipping into Kelsey. And I kept saying, why aren't they covering him? Because you can't. He's unbelievable.
Well, we've known that.
But if they were playing a team with a competent offense, that was a losable game because they only had 19 points.
But then they would have dialed up stuff more downfield. They were just like, we're up 16-0. What do you want them to do? Start throwing the ball 60 yards down the field?
So they were not trying to score for a
Yes, they were trying to churn out the clock because they were up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
I think
definitely wouldn't. Did they throw a pass over 20 yards in the second half? One pass.
I think that's a problem, though, that all of a sudden, and then if they're playing the Chargers next week, or if they got to play the Dolphins and the Eagles, that all of a sudden it's like, all right, hey, I know we've been just taking it easy. Now we have to really try and dial things downfield when we haven't done it.
Yeah,
That's the thing about the Chiefs, though. They do deserve the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, if they do find themselves in one of those games, are we all of a sudden magically going to be like, wow, and Rashee Rice looks like the next, insert great wide receiver.
Rashee Rice.
He was good last
Oh, he's
night.
I have
awesome.
him on my fantasy team. I started him.
So here's my issue, though. You guys probably all criticize Kyle Shanahan for not running out the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Like, you have to learn how to do that. I think that's a harder skill when you're an offense like that to be able to churn out a win than we know Patrick Mahomes can throw it everywhere. I think it was crazy effective last night. I know they failed in the red zone, but they didn't need to do anything.
But even they have talked about this as
but did you hear what Mahomes
story?
You heard Mahomes' quote there. He's like, he didn't sound worried. He's like, we made plays when we needed to.
Right. He's not worried, but he also knows that they're not playing as well as they should be playing. They could have won that game 30-8. And it never would have been in doubt. This feels like the Jets game where you were saying they were just kind of like goofing around and they could have won by 10. They're not scoring points. They're not putting teams away. They're not thumping people. They're not the Dolphins putting 70 on the Broncos.
Show me a point where there's a live bet against the Chiefs that's not like a crazy odds. Like there was not a point. There wasn't a single second last night where anyone in America thought the Chiefs were going to lose that game.
Well, that's also a function of the Broncos. I mean,
yeah,
really bad.
But that also doesn't have anything to do with when they play teams that are good. If they have these same problems on offense, it's going to to hurt them. Like they
Perloff
lost to the Lions because they scored 20 points.
What's the problem?
Perloff
What was the problem
think it's
last
a problem.
night?
That
19 points.
1 for 5 in the red zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Pacheco looked great. I thought Travis Kelce was unstoppable, and Mahomes was in total control.
No fine yet for George Kittle for his Bleep Dallas t-shirt on Sunday Night Football, but he's expecting one. The Niners tight end says the shirt was worth it, and Giants QB Daniel Jones yet to practice this week.
What's the statute of limitations on this? I mean, come on, it's Friday already.
Yeah, you usually get that like right away on Wednesday,
Tuesday, I thought. Yeah, or something. Yeah, you get an envelope in your locker, right?
So no Daniel Jones, probably Sunday night. That means Tyrod Taylor gets sacked by the Bills defense instead.
I don't know. I think that's a bit of an upgrade. I'm thinking about picking the Giants in this game.
I mean, the spread is too big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
What is going on there? They're coming back from London, and you have to be more scared about Tyrod Taylor than Daniel Jones. I know you are because he was a Bills quarterback.
He was. I mean, this is now going back a little bit. Tyrod Taylor's been on like 4 teams since then. He's had his lung punctured like 3 times by the Chargers medical staff. Thankfully, he's fine. But I'm always worried.
The Arizona Diamondbacks now know who they'll face in their first NLCS in 16 years, and it's not the Braves. They lost last night's game and their DS by 3-1 counts after 104 wins during the regular season. Spencer Strider allowed 3 solo homers last night.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Braves fans out there that aren't happy, and they have every right to be that way, and we got nobody to blame but ourselves, and for me personally, wasn't good enough.
Ronald Acuna Jr. hit 143 in the series, then bolted the clubhouse without talking to reporters.
What a leader he is.
The NLCS begins on Monday night.
He was waiting for that.
Bellotti, you really hate the Braves, don't you?
Get them out. They're fans too. I'm sure there's very respectable Brave fans out there, but them booing Pete Alonso didn't sit well with me, and just how they have been over the last couple of years. So you know what? Take a hike.
Wow. That fat loser mascot.
What's the mascot for the Braves?
Blooper or something? What's his stupid ass name? I hate that guy.
Wait, they're always doing the green man, who's like the Mr. Freeze, right?
Nobody knows him, and you hate him.
Bogues, you don't know the Braves mascot?
I don't.
Come on. He's got like his own Twitter blooper. That fat loser. I hope that guy feels real good about himself that he's not going to put that stupid outfit on for another 6 months now.
Somebody's job, dude.
And
you think he
fat.
wants
He's
to be
not
this?
fat.
He's a mouthless beige something. This is the least offensive mascot I've ever seen in my life.
Make him run against the freeze.
He's actually not even that fat. He's actually,
But as far as mascots
he's like
go.
half the size of the Philly Fanatic.
He's got 145,000 followers on Twitter. He just trolls people, and all the Braves fans eat up. Oh, you just got owned by Blooper. Shut up.
That, I
The
mean,
dumbest mascot, literally. What is you?
I think that we're going to have to save some of this energy for when you're wearing the red lipstick.
Do we have any? We don't have any affiliates in Atlanta, do we?
I
Because
think we're on in Atlanta.
Yeah, this is.
Hi, guys.
I like Atlanta as a sports town. I don't even mind the Braves.
I don't mind Atlanta itself, just Blooper. I got a problem with him. I got a real problem with him.
I feel like he's about to show up and you two are going to throw down.
He kind of feels like a Philly Fanatic ripoff. I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
It's either an homage to the Fanatic. This is not that creative. He looks like a nice guy. So Blooper's on Twitter. Have you actually personally been trolled by Blooper?
No, but I know people that have. And everybody like
on behalf of them, you're pissed off.
Like he could say the stupidest thing ever, and everybody that's in the reply is like, "Oh, you just got owned by Blooper."
I thought mascots couldn't talk, but they're allowed to tweet.
To type, yeah. You can type.
Yeah, it's a different world now, Perloff.
I will fight Blooper if I ever see him.
I
telling you
might
that
pay
right
for
now.
Blooper to come here, so
I
you have
know.
to fight him.
I would pay for that too.
Yeah, he can come here because he's on vacation now. So
wow,
This is like
right.
it's a seasonal employee who's probably working for like $15 an hour.
And they don't work much in October.
No, Blooper definitely does parties in the off season. Like, what kind of 9-year-old in Atlanta wouldn't want Blooper to show up at their birthday?
Not having a World Series party.
Oh,
Whoa.
Jeez, Pete.
Ridiculous. I mean,
guys,
they were pumping their
They just
chests out.
lost. They just lost a divisional series. Can you be nice here?
No, absolutely not. Because this team won 2 World Series in about 50 years for the 50 division titles they won, and their fans pump out their chests. So
I'm very uncomfortable with the Phillies not being the most hated team in this studio.
they're
I know. Take a back seat. I'm right now on the Philadelphia Inquirer reading a think piece opinion on the op-ed page about the Braves mascot. Given that Blooper doesn't have a mouth, it's amazing how much he's run it lately. How's this worthy of a
By
newspaper
Pat Boyle.
column? This was published 5 days ago.
this is the coalition against Blooper. This show.
I didn't know he existed
I
until
know.
now.
This is new. I gotta get used to this guy.
Should I tell Pete that the other clubhouse last night was also cursing out the Mets?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay.
They get ready to be defeated by the Diamondbacks coming up here.
Fingers
Listen,
crossed.
Mets, we just live rent free in all their heads.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
why.
So you want that Diamondbacks Rangers World Series
That's
showdown?
fine with me.
Bring on the ratings, baby.
That's fine with me. I'm not going to watch it.
NBA preseason last night. I'm sure everyone was watching. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant combined for 34 points and 11 assists. Suns won in Portland 122-111. And more hockey last night. The Wild blanked the Panthers to zip in their season debuts. The Kraken 0-2 after a 3-0 loss in Nashville. Guys, back to you.
Andrew Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, turning our attention to college. You got some major showdowns, including the Oregon-Washington game that is high on all of our lists. Perloff and I get into that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
The thing about ethic.
Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's us can we stay?
You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play. You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play.
The Orioles, Dodgers.
What are you listening to? Kenny Lattimore. Brand new. Not even out yet. He's a friend of mine, you know it.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay, welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. We were treated to a crappy game last night on the NFL schedule, and I can't wait because there's going to be more slop this weekend. There's going to be weather everywhere.
You're
but to
looking
me,
forward to this.
the most interesting games are actually the bad teams here, because think about the ramifications of this Vikings-Bears game. Basically, if the Vikings lose, they're 1-5 and everybody gets traded. Now, if the Bears lose, then we're back on the Justin Fields isn't the answer and they need to tank for Caleb Williams.
Right, yes.
So this is going to define the rest of the season, because I think if you're the Vikings and the Bears, you're starting to think of, where do I have to be careful that I'm going to accidentally win a game and lose my shot at the top quarterback?
Okay, I've been all about if the Vikings lose, Kirk Cousins could get moved. But we were talking yesterday to Tom Pelissero, right, from NFL Network. He's an insider. And he brought this up a couple times, which was, are you sure the Kirk Cousins is going to want to waive his no trade clause. Like, is that a real possibility? What if the Jets are like, we want you, and he's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I'm not sure like why he would want to be on a sinking ship of a Vikings team as opposed to maybe a team that still has a bit more of a pulse. But what if he decides, I just want to stay? Like, could this all just be much ado about nothing?
Oh, definitely. But what if they trade Danielle Hunter, probably their best player with Justin Jefferson out, the pass rusher? That'd be a huge deal. That's a sign that, hey, we're, Jefferson's out for at least 4 weeks, could be longer.
They could shut it down for the season. I mean, it might not matter.
They could shut him down for the season, trade Hunter, and then it won't matter if Kirk is there or not. They can lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the solution. Forget Kirk. I think Kirk, it's hard to trade for a Kirk Cousins midseason. He seems like a very system-dependent quarterback, so he's got to know the system. It's got to be like Kyle Shanahan. So I don't see that happening. The other one is this Patriots-Raiders game. This feels like whoever loses this game is in big trouble.
I do not.
Big trouble.
I love watching I'll watch any football game. There's nothing appealing to me about this game at all. Like, I guess maybe if Belichick loses to McDaniels 2 years in a row, is that the ultimate rock bottom for Bill Belichick? Probably. You lose to your protege, and McDaniels is a terrible in-game coach.
Wait, but you're not fascinated to see this? You know something dramatic's going to happen. You just think it's going to be ugly football?
I think it's going to be, last year it came down to the pitchy doo-doo, right? With the Chandler Jones scored because Jacoby Myers, for some reason, coughed up the ball. It was just like so silly. But I think that this is going to just be a terrible game.
I think it's the best game of the 4 o'clock slate. Listen to this slate. New England, Vegas. You got Arizona at the Rams. Nobody's going to watch that. That is going to be the lowest rated game.
I think that one could sneaky have a fun ending. I mean, Arizona, they've been hanging in.
That feels like a frisky Cardinals, like 31-28 Rams win on like a last-second field goal.
Okay. Eagles-Jets is probably going to be ugly, too. I think that's going to be a real slow-down game. And then, I guess, Detroit-Tampa Bay.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's the game of the week.
I love that
Detroit,
game.
Why are you
over Patriots and Raiders?
Don't tell me you guys are buying into Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And what is the win? What is the win that says to you that Tampa Bay is a good team?
This one on Sunday.
I just want to see a little. I think the Lions are really fun to watch. Game is in Tampa, right? I want to see a little on the road. I know the weather's not, I don't think it's supposed to be bad, but I just want to see a little more Detroit on the road. They had the big win against the Chiefs opening night. That's awesome. But I want to see how they are away from Detroit. Let's see how real this team is.
I think Tampa Bay is the most overrated team in the league right now.
Them demolishing the Saints didn't
do anything.
Because
Derek Carr couldn't throw the ball 8 yards down the field in that game.
Okay. They beat the Vikings on the road in week 1. Now looking back on that, maybe not that impressive.
Okay.
They handily, I would say, beat the Bears. I know it was 2017, and then Justin Fields threw like that last drive, like pick literally right to, was it Shaq Barrett?
Yeah.
But, they've played the Eagles, and for the most part, they got dominated. But this defense, I feel like everybody forgets, there's a lot of pieces on this Bucs defense that were on that Super Bowl winning team, and they were literally ravaged by injuries last year. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's a Pro Bowler. I'm not saying he's great, but he's arguably having his best season of his career right now. And he's taking care of the football. This is a Baker Mayfield renaissance here.
Man, I smell Pat taking the Buccaneers plus the 3. But I think also at home, I can't tell if this is a little, 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, I'm going to be like, oh, remember when Baker Mayfield got off to that hot start? What happened? There's always that one quarterback early that look, it's Sam Bradford is the MVP through 5 weeks, and then it falls off.
Right. Todd Bowles is still the coach of this team. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, the Bucs really got. I'm worried for your Bucs because I think they've beaten really bad teams. But the Lions on the road, who the heck knows what they're going to do?
Exactly. You take the dome off a stadium, and Jared Goff turns into Garrett Joff. Whatever that means.
Nice.
I kind of know what that means.
Yeah.
I think on the road in his career, he's he's under 500 against the spread and straight up.
But I think it's I can't remember if that's mostly for bad weather too, which I think in Tampa, maybe it's just on the road period, but I wasn't sure if the weather also had to play effect.
This is a tough week of football, by the way. We do not have great matchups. I don't know who's on a bye.
But you're loving this Patriots-Raiders.
Patriots-Raiders should be really, it's interesting. Whoever loses that Patriots-Raiders, McDaniels could get fired. And if Belichick loses, that's our main story, right? Monday. That is the narrative of the year. Belichick loses again. I mean, it looks bad like last 2 weeks. Oh, my gosh. That's unbelievable. Everyone's going to say it was all Tom Brady. I mean, talk about legacy on the line here.
We've had
I feel
a few
like
this
week
year.
by week, Bill Belichick's legacy is being redefined, and not in a good way.
No, I mean, I know Brady tried to defend him last week on his podcast saying, you can't count out Bill. Here's my question. Bill Belichick has promised like wholesale changes going into this game. What can you change in 1 week? Like even the great coach of all time, what can you do in 1 week? You can't change your personnel.
I don't know. I mean, the thing about the special teams is terrible this year. When did the Patriots have bad special teams? Everything is wrong. Just the entire, from top to bottom. It's not the offense. It's not the defense. It's not the special teams. It's every single player is getting pushed around. I don't know what's happening there. It's embarrassing for Bill Belichick. I would think maybe try Bailey Zappi, but he hasn't been any better when he gets in there.
No, Bailey Zappi has not been the guy. I mean, I think the best game of the weekend will probably end up being Seahawks-Bengals. I think that's a great game. But if the weather is going to be a factor, then it's probably going to make it ugly. It's supposed to rain all through the Midwest.
I mean, listen, that rivalry, the Seahawks and the Bengals.
I know. Throw out the record books.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. It's hard to predict the best game. It's never been the game that we thought it was going to be. Like we thought Cowboys-Niners, and that was not so good.
That's true. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, I'm in the Twitch chat as well. Hello, everybody. Thank you. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, or you can follow us on Twitch.tv. We're back in a minute.
You're in a 5-minute break.
From Andrew Perloff's Skyline Chili Bet Payoff. Number 10.
With the cheese, he is very delicately breaking the film.
Number 9.
There is juice cascading off his nose.
It's good.
Number 8.
All the way in. Oh, we have spaghetti. He has found the pasta.
Number 7.
Big bite. Oh, that's a lot of pasta.
You're really getting in there.
Number 6.
Why I didn't.
There we go.
Slurping
Good
sound.
slurping.
Number 5.
Oh.
Number 4.
Oh, my God.
That was a full open mouth tongue scoop of pasta. This
Number
is
3.
friendship. Oh, it's like he's a 4-year-old.
Number 2.
A bowl of chili anymore. Oh, our first rip of pasta.
And the number 1 moment from Andrew Perloff's Skyline Chili Bet Payoff.
Noises as we gobble up. Oh, now it's over.
Top 10 moments from Andrew Perloff.
The thing about ethics. The thing about ethics.
Minutes remaining.
Come here.
Eat the chili. No hands.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
One thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
Eat the chili. No hands.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I start
She's the reigning Fortnite champion. She's a Call of Duty legend. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. I'm about to throw a makeup mirror to Pat Boyle because he lost a bet to me that he thought Taylor Swift wasn't going to be at the Minnesota Vikings game last week. Or he thought she would be there, rather. I knew she wasn't going to be because we got no whiff of it on social media. So now he has to wear red lipstick a la Taylor for the rest of the show. He's going to be applying that any minute. If you want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio or twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio.
Would you wear that bright red lipstick? Have you
I've
ever
worn it
worn
on occasion. The problem is with the red lipstick is like you really got to. It's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of managing. Because if it gets off your lips or on, you start looking like you're 3 o'clock in the morning, strung out.
But I don't want to start this argument again. But once again, Taylor, not exactly fashionable in the box.
You are such a harsh critic.
Like, as my daughter said, wow, she really dresses like a mom. And that sounds wrong.
No, am I supposed to be offended by that? If I dress like Taylor Swift, because I am a mom, if I dress like that, I would think I was the coolest person on planet Earth.
Yeah, but you could say dresses like a dad. That's not the same thing. Like I do. It's not a good thing.
I don't look at her and it screams mom. To me, if you're a mom, that means you're like in some kind of yoga pant, some kind of stretchy material, some sort of oversized sweatshirt. The way your daughter's meaning it.
She lives in Brooklyn where the moms are probably 10 times more fashionable than Taylor Swift on her most fashionable moment. It strikes me as funny that she's not dressing up more for these games or like doing an outfit. Like the average NBA player is putting more effort into his outfit than Taylor Swift.
You're right. Russell Westbrook does have a more impressive.
Oh my God. Kyle Kuzma would never show up to a game dressed like that.
If she came in that big oversized sweater that he used to wear.
There was really no buzz around her in the box last night.
It's over. I think it's not over. It's different. It's peaked for sure.
And Travis Kelce had an unbelievable first half, and it still was no focus on her. So now she's just a fan at the game, and we're going to all be used to this?
I think it's just sort of normal now. You're just the girlfriend of the tight end, And they cut away to her at a few different reaction shots, but it was not the buzz.
You're the world's most famous pop star, and you're the tight end's girlfriend?
I think so. That's what happens when you show up this much.
Yeah.
Oversaturate.
So she's not going to be around for the Super Bowl if the Chiefs make it, but she's going to be in Tokyo.
I think so, yeah.
I'll tell you right now, she calls an audible if the Chiefs make it. Are we all agreed on that?
She'll be there.
She'll be at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But she won't perform. It's Usher.
No, it's Usher.
Do you think Usher would bring Taylor Swift up? I mean, she's in the building.
All right, Pat. Anytime you're ready there, pal, you can just generously apply that red lipstick.
I really got to do this.
You lost the bet. What's the name of the lipstick? You can look on the underside and it'll tell you.
So it says Wet and Wild.
Yeah, that's the brand name.
Thanks, Maggie. You
You're
really
welcome.
leaned into this one. Huh? Wet and Wild. Hot red. That's the color.
It's gonna be great on you.
I don't
Try
know.
to stay in the lines a little, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky. I should just start going all out Joker with this thing, make a mockery of it.
Maybe you can save that later on in the show.
You should walk up the hall after this.
If I'm doing this, I'm going Steve Buscemi on it. So,
right.
Pete, why don't you hit me with some music here?
Does Pat also have a list of people to kill?
Yeah.
Glad we called
I'll tell you who's at the top of it.
Oh, no. I better do something nice for you before the end of the show.
All right. This is so demeaning.
Well, you lost the bet, dude.
All right,
Wait,
here we go.
I don't see lipstick on her lips. Let's get it going.
I'm going no makeup mirror. I'm going right into the camera.
Oh, I can see it from
Oh,
here.
wow.
Oh,
That pops.
good. Yeah.
That pops.
Okay, got it. All right.
Wow.
I hope you guys are happy with
That's
yourselves.
even better than I thought.
It is your shade. I mean, honestly, I'm like patting myself on the back that I
And
got this
compliments.
incredible color for you.
His green Notre Dame shirt matches
Yeah.
perfectly with the bright red.
It is the contrast, I think, that's doing it.
Yeah, thanks. I look like a damn Christmas ornament now. Thank you.
Yeah.
And your miserable look adds to it, too. This is
You're
that
pouting.
frown.
Yeah, you're pouting.
You don't look like Taylor in the box. She's always smiling.
Yeah.
I feel like a prostitute that just didn't get paid.
Look what you made him do.
I like
There you
it.
go.
I think
Shake it off.
Now you're
Shake it off,
dropping-
Pat.
now You're dropping Taylor Swift lyrics. You're as bad as every other broadcaster that did it. You're as bad as Chris Hansen.
Come on, it's not
Scott,
a cruel,
whatever his name
It's
is.
not a cruel summer. Stop.
Pete.
Pat, I think this is your season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did anyone hear me say "shake it off," Pat? There, I want credit.
You're
I want.
so credit.
I want to get in on the
You
dad jokes,
got it, you got
Bilotti.
it.
We're together on this
I
one.
mean-
That's right. That's right.
listen, she's got a song called Style. I think it just ends there. Very stylish.
This miserable look on your face. I wish I could frame this right now. Just
Spencer
a
in the chat
stare.
said you're very pretty. So it's compliments. There you go.
Is it a good shade for me?
I think you
No,
look great.
it's the worst possible shade for you. Honestly, you could wear any other shade of lipstick and it would look better than what this looks like.
Please do a lap around the newsroom. This would be great.
And Perloff saying that Taylor Swift is not fashionable. I mean, it takes a lot to pull off the red lipstick and make that look good. Not every Pat, Dick, and Harry can do it. So
Yeah.
maybe Taylor deserves some credit.
Yeah, Pete, you want me to do a lap around the newsroom where Boomer Esiason is 20 feet away? That'd be
Oh,
great.
he'll love this.
With no
Boomer.
coffee around.
Boomer will totally understand everything that's going on here and be totally on board.
Yeah, Boomer, who's been losing his mind in the newsroom about there not being any coffee right now. I'm sure that if he sees me with bright red lipstick, he's going to feel really good about me.
Okay. I'm glad now that a former NFL MVP is bringing up, what is the deal with the coffee this morning? I'm in a total state of disarray right now.
I know you're losing it.
Yeah, I've been wandering around aimlessly in the breaks. Bilotti, does this happen a lot in the mornings?
With this arrangement, no. I haven't had a day where there has been no coffee. There's
Okay, well,
been something.
Pat, you better lay low.
It's wild that we're complaining about this. It's not like we don't live in a big city where you can get anything delivered to us in 20 minutes. We can just order some coffee, guys.
You're going to make Pat run downstairs in the lipstick?
We should.
I am not leaving this control room. And at 10 o'clock, I am going TMZ, avoid the paparazzi, right out the door.
I think I have a makeup remover for you.
Please.
I think I do.
Please.
Maggie,
A little
why are you
soap
helping
and
him
wa-
out?
A little
You
soap
won the
and
bet.
water, and it's going to look like you were making out with somebody all morning. Like just a little, and then maybe everyone will think you're cool. Like, hey, where's this red lipstick person? Pat was,
Taylor
Maybe-
Swift.
maybe someone will like
she's
it.
She's two-time in Kelsey.
Maybe you'll get some notes here. Maybe some people like this look.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Pat, if you got a note from someone who was into it, you'd be into it too, wouldn't you?
Marie?
Yeah, well, do they live in a basement with their mom? I mean, what are we doing? What kind of person is enjoying this? I
am.
I don't know.
Pete's right here. He's not in the basement.
You're having a great time.
Pete, you want me to give you a kiss on your bald head?
I'll pass on that.
This is
Oh, it's
this
so
is
good.
so much better than I thought it was going to be. This is the perfect. This is a perfect bet.
It turns
We
out
nailed this one.
You don't have to just be eating massive amounts of peanut butter and jelly,
Yeah.
sticking your face in chili to have a good time around here. You can just wear lipstick like Pat is wet and wild.
I want to see him make sports points with this too.
I want to
This is
frame
great.
this
Yeah,
photo of Pat Boyle.
I
It
at
is-
least want some NIL money. I want a sponsorship.
From Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild. Even men can wear red lipstick.
You know what? In this day and age, that could be a really big campaign. 855-212-4CBS. If you want to watch this, again, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv. I'm still getting used to that. CBS Sports Radio, of course, on our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates. You can just enjoy this as the sound of our voices. Patrick Mahomes last night had a lot to say about the offense. Pete, can we play cut 4? He says that the defense is allowing the offense to have, in his words, the growing pains.
We can go through these growing pains and try to get better and better. But, I mean, the talent's there. You can see it in spurts. But we have to learn how to sustain drives, get down the red zone, score touchdowns, and make it easier on our defense to play a little bit more free.
Listen, unless Mahomes is really doing an oopsie-doop here, which he could be, just lying to everyone, Perloff, you think it's a strategy that they're trying to bleed clock and just, and not being successful in the red zone, you don't think is a big issue. I think Mahomes is kind of being honest here, right? Like, this does not look like an explosive offense.
He's an NFL quarterback in front of a microphone and a podium. There is 0% honesty. They're never honest, and you know that.
But he's not making it sound like it's a strategy. He's making it sound like they're still working things out, and the defense is bailing them
That's
out.
his game. He's all about humble. Yeah, of course. I'm not saying it's 100% ideal, but when did the Chiefs hand the ball off 20 times in a game? This is a different Chiefs offense. Yeah. They're definitely slowing the game down. He was taking what they gave him. He was 30 for 40 for 300 yards. And honestly, felt like the ball didn't touch the ground when the Chiefs were on offense. And that put the Broncos, everyone's killing Russell Wilson. The Broncos were in a tough position. They could not get their offense back on the field for the whole first half. How many drives did they have? Very, very few.
Kansas City offense, in terms of points per game, they're a 9th in the NFL. In terms of red zone scoring percentage, which is just touchdowns, they're 17th. It's about 54%.
And where are they in terms of wins?
They're 4-1, 5-1.
Yes, so there's 2 undefeated teams, and then there's the Chiefs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, the defense, in terms of opponent points allowed, 2nd right now in the entire NFL.
You know about complementary football. That is definitely part of this new run game. And Pacheco's awesome.
He is so good.
Nobody runs angrier than that little guy. I am so into him.
I don't think he's little. Well, we met him in Kansas City. Oh. He wasn't that little.
Just the way he runs. You know, hasn't he been compared to the angry toddler? Oh, no. The angry toddler is Kyler Murray. Pacheco he's the one who's angry at the ground when he runs.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Here is Sean Payton. Let's hear from the Broncos head coach on the losing side of this. A season low 8 points. Says the Broncos must continue to improve in all areas.
It wasn't good enough. And there's a handful of plays that I even called that I look back on it and was anticipating one thing and got something else. So we've got to be better there. I mean, to win in our league, you got to be better throwing the ball, especially, I don't think the wind was that big of a factor.
Yeah, I mean, the wind, you had Harrison Butker kicking 52 to 60-yard field goals. So obviously the Chiefs were managing it pretty well, at least their special teams. I mean, I think that right now, Russell Wilson is obviously not a value add in the way that you need someone of his caliber to be or what he used to be. And Sean Payton isn't a value add either right now. That's a big problem when they're, at this point, the 2 most important people in your franchise.
Well, being 1-5 is obviously the big problem here too as well, which is a result of those 2 things. There was a play I want to ask you about.
Okay.
Yesterday, it was early in the game, the first drive actually, and the Broncos got down to about the 37 of the Chiefs, 4th down. Russell Wilson doesn't have anyone to throw to on his first look. He scrambles out to the right. It's 4th and 3. He gets sacked for 9 yards.
Yep.
I think that Russell Wilson didn't let go of the ball because he did not want to throw an interception that would look bad on his stat line. Because what's the point of not throwing the ball? Just throw a 50-50 ball up in the air. And I think Russ, and I think a lot of quarterbacks do this, do not throw into traffic because they don't. Shedeur Sanders has been already attacked for this. I think Russ was looking at his stat line on that particular play. And I mean that as an indictment.
It's interesting because I think he got sacked like 55 times last year. And the whole season gets written off because it was so bad. But you're right. We generally put sacks a little bit more on the offensive line than we do on the quarterback. Well, and that seemed like, Russ, I didn't like the play call on that 4th and 3. I didn't like anything about it.
Do you think he would protect his stat line? Everything you know about Russell Wilson, I feel like, and I like Russell Wilson a lot, but it feels like something he would do to me.
Yeah, this is like the NBA players who don't put up half-court shots at halftime,
definitely,
right before the buzzer goes off because they don't want the miss in the box score.
Are there players who have admitted doing that?
I don't even know if you have to admit it. Like, I think it's just so obvious.
Because there was Russ had plenty of time to just throw the ball up in the air. He should have done that.
What
it was
would the
4th
field
down.
goal been? It was at the Kansas City 38, and he got sacked for a loss of 3.
Right, on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3?
4th and 3.
So it was 38, so it would have been a 55-yarder in the wind. That's a go-for-it situation.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Sure,
I just didn't like the play
analytics would
call.
say
I
that.
didn't like the play call. Or whatever was going on there. It was
What
just
would you
nothing.
play? Would you have handed the ball off?
Probably.
You were very critical of 4th and short.
I am.
I love, all of a sudden, like, you become Bill Belichick when a team fails on 4th down.
I know. But listen, Kansas City only came down and scored a field goal after that. So they only found themselves in a 3-point hole. And for this Denver offense, that's too much for this Denver team.
Yeah, it was over.
Because then Russ comes back on the second drive of the game and threw a brutal pick. And to be honest, Mahomes actually returned the favor on the next drive. It was a tough night. Tough night for scoring.
It's weird. Really interesting that Jerry Jeudy was 10 yards behind the pick, seemingly in the wrong place.
It's funny.
Really interesting. As my friend Steve Smith Sr. said, that is a tier 3 guy.
Yeah, just a guy. Let's hear a little of the Steve Smith if you haven't heard it. So I'll give you the backstory, and then, Pete, we can just play cut 9. So the backstory is that Steve Smith had been critical of Jerry Jeudy on his podcast. He tries to go up to Jeudy before the game to sort of mend the fences or apologize to him to say, sorry, I've been so critical. Jerry Jeudy blew off Steve Smith, and then Steve Smith doubled down on the criticism.
I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you? I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
It's the direction there of Steve Smith is that's all he had to say. Throw it back to the studio. He really is getting the hang of TV.
Yeah, it's funny. I was at home and our boss, Spike Eskin, sent out a tweet of that. I'm like, there's no way Spike is watching the NFL Network pregame. This has got to be something that's viral.
Yeah.
And then it just took over the night because the game was kind of boring. So people kept coming back to that little controversy.
I just wanted a Jerry Jeudy cam after that, just like the Taylor Swift cam or whatever. Just put the camera on Jeudy and see how he responds. And he was dreadful.
With a minus 4-yard catch. It wasn't his fault. He didn't have any room, but he's not good. I mean, I don't know if it's him or the system, but he's not effective right now.
3 receptions, 14 yards. Here was Jerry Jeudy. Let's play cut 10, can't we, Pete? When asked about Steve Smith's comments.
Jerry, Steve Smith said he had some kind of conversation with you before the game. Did that not go well, or based on what he said on air on NFL Network?
I don't remember that. But like I said, it was a close game. We just got to finish at the end of the game.
Yeah, he definitely knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Jeudy was even kind of walking and, I don't want to say dancing, but kind of running kind of back and forth behind the live shot
I
at
think
one
that
point.
was a dance. I think that qualifies as a dance.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of like that quote from Jerry Jeudy, not diving into that. After a loss, it's probably the right thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 catches. You can't, for no yards. You can't start talking tough after a game like that.
Yeah, I'm actually.
You look like a tier 3.
I'm just kind of glad Denver didn't get shut out last night because that would be bad. To get shut out by
difference. They scored a late touchdown. It didn't matter.
There's a huge difference. The fact that it was actually a touchdown game in the fourth quarter, an 8-point game.
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
I mean, did we really expect Denver was going to go to Kansas City and win a football game?
No, but I'm sick of moving the goalposts this much for Denver.
They're a 1-4 team going into the home of the defending champion. That's not moving the goalposts. That's a reality.
No, I'm saying this whole season. Yes, maybe no one thought that the Broncos were going to go to the Super Bowl in the first year with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, but no one thought it was going to look worse than it did last year, which is exactly what's going on. And to give them the, hey, at least they didn't get shut out. I mean, we're talking about Sean Payton here and Russell Wilson. I know it looks awful, but should we be I think they deserve everything, all the criticism going their way. No moral victories here for scoring a late touchdown.
But last night was not as embarrassing as, say, Miami. That was the one. That was the most embarrassing game of the season.
I'll give you that. It was not as embarrassing as losing by 50.
The reality here is it's broken. It's not working. Changes are coming. I'm not sure how. That's the issue now. It's not whether changes should come. It's how are they going to get out of Russ.
You need, remember Pulp Fiction? Winston Wolfe,
Yeah, you need the cleaner.
You need the cleanup guy. I don't know who in this Denver organization is smart enough or savvy enough to have any kind of graceful exit from Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's not just right. I mean, there are probably 15 players on that roster who need to get cut immediately. I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but you can't have guys not trying. It just does not work in the NFL.
You know what they need? They need Deion. Come in, use the transfer portal, get a whole new.
Oh, come
They need
on.
free agency. Well, but free agency is never the Band-Aid either. They tried that this offseason. The Broncos, they, spent $200 million in free agency this offseason.
Yeah, I just think the problem for the Broncos is the entire roster. Like it's rotten to the core. It's the last 5 years. It can't be every coach is bad. It can't be Vic Fangio is bad and Vance Joseph is bad and Hackett was bad.
Yeah.
But it can't. At a certain point, it's something other than the coaches, right? I mean, if you keep going over and over and the same problems keep coming up.
Totally. You think it would change maybe with new ownership, but they haven't been there that long.
Yeah, they have a lot of money, which is good. Maybe how do you use that money to get out of this cap problem? Do you happen to know? There's got to be a way.
They probably should have bought a baseball team if they really wanted to have flex the money thing.
I feel like you can buy your way out of this somehow. Like trade him and be like, we'll give you $30 million on the slide to take Russell Wilson.
But if you start over the rookie quarterback, you could do that. It's still going to be painful, but
Yeah.
you can do that because you're paying the rookie nothing. Okay. Pat Boyle wearing red lipstick. If you want to see that beautiful image, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. That's where you can watch. Okay, coming up, we do have a new quarterback who could be making a play for the number 1 overall pick in the draft. You're going to watch him this weekend. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, you can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free. Sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. All right, I know what I'm doing this weekend, Maggie.
What's that?
There's going to be a little rain. That means I have a date with my couch. 3:30 p.m., ABC, Oregon, Washington. Let's go. There's so many ramifications about this game. I know it's a long rivalry, but this year, I can't remember where so much was at stake.
How about this? I didn't realize how crazy this was. 100-year history of this rivalry, the first time both teams have been ranked in the top 10.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah, and for me, too, because I'm a big NFL draft fan, I feel like the winner goes higher in the draft. Bo Nix wins with Oregon. He goes ahead of Michael Penix. Michael Penix wins. He goes ahead of Bo Nix. I feel like this showdown and the Heisman rankings, they're both in the Heisman race. Whoever shows out here, I think, is going to make a big statement that'll define the rest of the year.
You might be right about that. And I think the big question, too, is we know we're going to see Caleb Williams in a big game, USC against Pat's Notre Dame Fighting Irish later that evening. But you have a major showcase of these two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They ball out. Is it possible, not just the Heisman, but could you start thinking about the number one overall pick? Do you think that Caleb Williams has this thing so locked up that there's nothing anyone could do? Because I would argue that a big game from like a Michael Penix, maybe you start rethinking this thing.
I think Caleb Williams has it 100% like that. And I don't even think Penix is top three. I mean, it definitely goes Caleb Williams, Drake May. And then McCarthy, I think, is third on everybody's list.
I know, but you know how things can change, right? Things can change. Who knew Zach Wilson was going to be the second overall pick until he started the draft process, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Michael Penix is 23. So is Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So it's like the NBA. Why has that guy been around for so long? In Michael Penix's case, it's health. And he's got a real problematic knee, which I think it's not about talent with him. I think it's about his knee. So I can't see a team at 2 or 3 risking that.
Well, here's the thing about knee problems or anything like that in this day and age.
Yeah.
We have the medical stuff has come such a long way, and you have an NFL where quarterbacks are not hit as much as they used to be. They're not taking the punishment. I know guys still get hurt. Obviously, Anthony Richardson is currently on IR, and Bryce Young's already missed a game, but it's just not what it used to be in terms of the physicality for that position.
Totally understand. But if you're looking at multiple prospects who are close, then aren't you going to weigh that against, say it's a toss-up between Penix and Nix, and Nix doesn't have a knee history, I think you're going to go with the safer pick.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's such thing as safer anymore, right? Because, again, like Anthony Richardson, I don't remember him having major health stuff, right?
No, that's a reality of the situation. But teams are stuck in their old ways of thinking. They do that medical at the combine. That's a huge deal for them.
Yeah.
I mean, PFF has Penix behind all those guys. They have Penix at the end of the first round. It goes Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 3, McCarthy 5, and then Nix 11 and Penix 19. I think it's only the knee, because you look at him on the field, you'd be like, oh, he's the best quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm wondering, you're mentioning how big this game is, in so many ways. If he's good enough to get himself into the Heisman conversation like that, I think that natural to talk about the number one pick or top 5.
I don't think it'll be him. I think, and first of all, I don't think Caleb Williams is in any danger. This weekend it's going to rain in Notre Dame, most likely. We'll just give him an excuse. I think this is Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence. There is no doubt about this guy. And I kind of think you think that too.
Well, he just has such a big lead, you know. But for Trevor Lawrence, like no one really did challenge him that draft. Like
no, of course not. And no one challenged Andrew. Andrew Luck would have gone as a freshman if he was allowed to come out. Would have gone number one.
No, I know, but RG3 did win the Heisman. Like it was.
There was not a single person who thought RG3 should be taken over Andrew Luck.
Well, I mean, Washington traded a lot to get him.
Yeah, no, but if they could have gotten to Luck, of course they would have. That was an easy pick for them.
I think this game, like you said, is going to go a long way with not just like actual rankings, but also with narrative. So. Listen, we're still early in this process. We think we're far along here in terms of Heisman, draft. We've got so far to go. There, so many twists and turns.
Tell you right now, and maybe I'll do a lipstick bet. It's done. Caleb Williams is going, unless he tears his Achilles, knock on wood, I hope that, he's going number one overall.
Lock that in.
No, Pat, the lipstick bet is all yours.
Maybe I'm a little jealous of Pat.
you
shouldn't be. I can taste it now.
Yeah, that's not a good taste.
I'm like starting to do like the Joker thing, and now I can taste it. My father.
That's good.
Was a drinker and a fiend.
Don't curse, by the way.
I'm just going to give you a little heads up. I spent 97 cents on that lipstick. That is not a natural product. You do not want to eat any of that.
Come on.
If you get dizzy, Pat, we know why.
This is going to be pretty gross. Pat is wearing red lipstick because he bet me that he thought Taylor Swift was showing up to the Vikings-Chiefs game. No. So he's got to wear the Taylor Swift red.
So you're like, I'm going to get like some kind of disease from ingesting this.
No, it's the toxins.
No. It's the toxins. And it takes years for those to kill.
And if you like it and you start wearing it regularly, which I suspect might happen, then the fumes over the years will definitely affect you.
What about me gives that off that I'm going to start wearing this regularly?
The confidence that you're sitting with right now with it on.
Confidence?
You're
I'm
a different person.
I'm ashamed. What do you want me to do?
No, we can see it.
A lot of heartbreak with Notre Dame. You never know.
I just think, it's Friday night. Pat's single. Go out to the bars. I feel like maybe wear the lipstick. Maybe you attract a different kind of, lady.
Maybe next week a little eyeliner.
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, a lady with armpit hair.
Listen, to each their own. Andrew Bogish is here with headlines.
I can admit it. I'm happy for Philadelphia. Good things happen to good places.
Lawton in at the Columbus line, looking for help. Gives up, connecting with a shot. He scores! Travis Konechny off the bar and in. Bangs one home for a 2-1 Flyers lead. His first goal of the season.
I believe that's Tim Saunders on Flyers Radio. Philly's hockey team starting its new campaign with a 4-2 win in Columbus. The Flyers now on pace for 82 wins, which would easily surpass last season's total of 31.
As far as the baseball team, though, you got nothing for us.
Sit tight. The city also honored on Thursday Night Football when Andy Reid turned a field goal attempt into a brotherly shove. Now, the Chiefs did not get the first down, but it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I shouldn't have called that. I mean, it was 2 yards right there and probably a little bit too far. So, but we were trying to stay aggressive with it, but probably want that one back.
I think his punter, who's also the holder, almost lost his head on this attempt. That was one of 2 red zone turnovers for KC. Harrison Butker's 4 field goals, the best part of their offense, in a 19-8 thriller over the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes is now 12-0 against Denver. His team has won their last 16 meetings.
I think Andy Reid wanted to nap mid-game. He was having trouble paying attention to that football game, as we all were.
I thought he tried the brotherly shove in that instance because, there's always a little Andy Reid Philadelphia connection. It will always be there. And it's like, oh, Philly does this. Like, I can do it too. And then it...
With a new wrinkle.
And it failed. Yeah, with a new
I don't understand why. Don't people just watch Philadelphia and say, let's do that? Like, everyone's got their own twist on the brotherly shove when it works 99% of the time for Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, not the Giants. They tried it the your way, and 2 guys got hurt.
That wasn't exactly. They did something wrong. They went to the wrong side, and
Daniel Jones messed it up.
Yeah, he messed it up
over the wrong guard.
It's so easy. I don't understand why everyone is not pushing everybody into the league. Right? It should become rugby. I don't like it, but the reality is it works. Have your Bills tried it?
No, they probably should.
Josh Allen's 6'6".
But Josh Allen, every time they tries to do a quarterback sneak, it's a real adventure.
Last but not least for Philly, it was the scene of the Braves season ending with a 3-1 loss in Game 4 last night. Those 3 runs were solo shots off of Spencer Strider. Atlanta left the bases loaded in the 7th, couldn't score in the 9th despite 1st and 3rd with nobody out. The Blue Jays are keeping GM Ross Atkins after their disappointing wild card performance, but team president Mark Shapiro did promise better communication with the players about the game plan. That's connected to the confusion over manager John Schneider removing Jose Barrios in the 4th inning of Game 2. He was pitching well. He and his teammates didn't know the plan was to use the bullpen early in that one. Houston, West Virginia football would not get a mention this morning if it didn't end like this.
Back to pass, Donovan Smith. Smith steps up in the pocket, unloads it, throws it all the way downfield into the end zone, tipped, and it is caught by the Cougars, caught for a touchdown, unbelievable, caught by Stephon Johnson. The ball was tipped up in the air, and the Cougars win the game on the final play. Unreal.
Kevin Eschenfelder from Learfield, a 49-yard Hail Mary for a 41-39 Cougar win in Houston after the Mountaineers had taken the lead on a 50-yard catch and run with just 12 seconds left.
Left way too much time on the clock. That was West Virginia. I mean, you can't leave 12 seconds.
Not for
in
Stephon
that
Johnson. You can't leave him 12 seconds.
That's the Big 12 I want. That's Big 12 football, where you just score at will. And I can't wait for Deion to enter that fray. This is all going to be great.
I can't believe that radio call was like the first half of that call is like he's calling a 1st and 10 at their own 30, and then the second half is like they're calling Game 7 of the World Series of the Super Bowl.
He's walking into a funeral.
Yeah.
Door opens, person's alive, and he celebrates.
I mean, there's something about gradually sort of reaching the crescendo. That was just like, boom, step on the gas. Anyway.
Yeah, it was real fun, by the way, going from Amazon to TBS to FS1 to find all the games last night. Thank you, cable gods, whatever.
We got to get you a second screen.
I need a second. I was thinking about that last night. My wife hates it. I've tried. But I watched the baseball. No, I watched a football game on my computer, and I was going back and forth between the Phillies and the college game. I have a very small apartment.
You can't turn it into a Buffalo Wild Wings? How dare you?
So just get an iPad or something like any kind of tablet and put it next to you. That's what I do.
Yeah, I know. Luckily, Amazon's on TV, on the computer. But do we really have to do this? Why can't everything?
You have to. Yeah, it's your job, man.
So what about you? Do you have cable? Like an old person like me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's a little difficult to stream. And then I wanted to watch the LeBron thing that I found out about too late.
Oh, the shop.
Whatever. And you talk a big game. We were on the phone yesterday, and I quote from Maggie Gray, "Where's that damn game?"
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, where's the game? You're like, I thought you could just Google it. I'm like, sorry. It's hard to find.
And the problem with Amazon is that it's not a channel. So you got to go in and out of different apps. It's not just in the stream of flipping around.
And also the other problem with Amazon is the actual games they've been getting.
Well, there is that too.
You guys sound like such boomers talking about how to actually watch the game.
What did you watch last night? How did you take in oh, okay. You had a lot going on last night.
On Amazon.
Okay.
You weren't trying to watch a second game.
But did you watch the Phillies by any chance?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Nobody around here.
No, I was at my sister's house helping my nephews do their homework, and again, just another affirmation that I'm never having kids.
Why? The homework's too hard?
No.
You're going to have kids. You're just not going to be there to take care of them.
Well, that is true. Maggie, this has been established before. I'm going to do a Genghis Khan thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to spread seed, not take care of them.
And we'll all be so much better for it.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's math involved. He's going to have as many as possible, thinking that at least one of them then, odds are, would be a good enough athlete for him to kind of mooch off of. Then he'll come back in to the life at that point.
Yeah, because
great plan.
I know. We've heard from athletes, they love it when their estranged parents come out of the woodwork once they get famous.
But
that always ends well.
It's not like I'm just knocking up a bunch of people. It's more so the bank. It's the bank situation, and then I want to swoop in and take advantage of.
Oh, you want to donate?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think you can
you think you're
donate.
you think you're a good candidate for a sperm donation?
Why not?
Actually, I can't see why not. Just because he's
That
wearing
was mean,
lipstick doesn't mean his jeans are a mess up.
Lipstick doesn't get passed through the gene pool, Maggie.
Well, you know that you have to abstain from all kind of alcohol and drugs for like a long period of time before you give the donation.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I knew you didn't do your homework
Yeah,
on
that's
this.
not happening. That ain't happening.
And by
Let's
the
plan
way,
B, Pat. All right, now we're on to plan B.
there's another thing you need to abstain from too to do that kind of donation.
Oh, yeah, that part also.
Yeah. Which men who are whatever, you don't want to. Certain things you might do alone.
Remember the episode of Seinfeld with the bet?
That's how you donate.
Yeah, but you can't do that in your own personal life for 2 weeks before the donation.
You can't practice.
You cannot practice.
What are you talking about?
Wow.
That's how you. That's repetitions. That's how you get the best possible sample.
No dress rehearsals.
Seriously, how am I going to be ready to go if I'm not, practicing, getting the reps in practice in a
Again,
week?
maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're just going to have to go the old-fashioned
No,
way.
Matt, your logic here is kind of throwing a real dent.
I think it's doctor's logic, not Maggie's.
Yeah, I know. I invented the rules. No.
I kind of just threw a wrench in.
Well,
But
it's
yeah,
all
I mean,
right.
the one nephew, he's 5. He can count, and then he's writing the numbers, and he's like, "What's next?" I'm like, "Dude, just say it out loud and then write the number down."
Wow.
He's like, "I can't." I'm like,
You
"Yes,
yelled at your
Uncle
nephew.
Dear.
Learning. What's wrong with you?
You yelled at your nephew on a math homework. What is
I'm like,
wrong
"Yes,
with you?
you can,
You idiot.
yes, you can."
Uncle Pat, why are you wearing lipstick?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Only an idiot wouldn't know that.
And then you got
I'm sorry, you're 5.
And then you got the third one whining and crying the entire time. I mean, I was ready to explode. I was like, I said to my sister, I was like, "You got to deal with this 24 hours a day?" God bless, mano.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's single and available. Just ladies. Ladies, Marie, he's ready for you.
Has some Wet and Wild lipstick in his pocket.
I think my favorite line of the day so far is like, I don't think. What did you say? You want to be a sperm donor? Just a judgment driven from Maggie. It was unbelievable.
It's just funny. You're like, I want to go Genghis Khan style. I don't think Genghis Khan was going down to the fertility clinic. I mean, that was a little different.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, it was a lot different in 98, AD,
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
freaking age he lived in, where he could just ask for it and it would happen.
Exactly.
Or he didn't even ask. He demanded. A lot different now. You can't really do that.
I know. Women, you can't just like bang them over the head with a club and take them into your cave anymore.
Oh, the good old days.
Oh, man.
Every bone in my body saying, break, 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 get out of here. We're talking about Genghis Khan.
No,
Leave.
it's the morning. Keep going.
Is that it? That's all.
Oh, I'm done. Yeah, sure.
We're all finished.
Can you edit me out of the podcast for that last 5 minutes?
All
I want
done
no
after that
part of
segment.
this.
It's okay. They encourage that kind of thing around here. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, we do have a Daily Deion for you. And this one was a shocker. Did Deion give a little hint about his future plans? Big game tonight against Stanford for Colorado. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff. That was dripping with judgment.
Was dripping
That
with
was
judgment.
dripping.
Big game against Stanford.
Don't move. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end.
$45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. Always a fun morning when someone's paying off a bet around here. Pat Boyle's wearing red lipstick, looks like Taylor Swift, because he lost a bet saying she thought she'd be at the Minnesota game. She wasn't.
He's slowly transforming into the Joker.
Yep.
The lipstick is spreading around. It went from funny to funny and scary.
Yeah, it's going to end it probably pretty sad. Let's get to our Daily Deion.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Okay, so you got the Colorado Buffaloes playing tonight against Stanford. Well, Friday night action. Deion, though, talking about the future of his two sons, not just Shedeur, but also Shilo, and he would like them to be scouted by the Atlanta Falcons.
Rich Sanders from the
His
ATL.
name is
man.
Rich Sanders from the ATL.
Family, we family.
Tell him what I told him. Tell him what I told him.
Hey, we gonna get
No,
the
no,
Sanders
tell him
boys.
exactly what I told you.
Hey, we ain't coming back unless we bringing the Sanders boys to both of them.
That's all I'm saying. Hey, how y'all feel about that?
Hey, how y'all feel about that?
Okay. It'd definitely be good for the city.
Okay, so that was Falcon scout Rich Sanders, who's no relation to Deion Sanders, but a guy wearing a Falcon shirt. Deion essentially saying that he would like Shilo and Shedeur to both be drafted by the Falcons.
It's the perfect solution.
Yep.
Show me a flaw in it. I know that sounds wild to think that the three of them could go somewhere together, but this doesn't sound wild at all because they're going to be about, if they miss the wild card, they'll probably move on to coach Arthur Smith. So they'll need a coach. They'll be around 10 to 15, which is where Shedeur Sanders might end up. Why not make this happen, Maggie?
I mean, it'd be wild. I don't know that Arthur Smith is on a hot seat like you think he is. You and I maybe disagree a bit on that one. But
I guess it depends how bad it goes. So, but if they're really bad and you don't think, if say they only win 7 games, you think he lasts?
But he hasn't even been able to pick his own quarterback yet. I mean, they brought in Mariota. That was like a Band-Aid.
He picked Ritter.
I know, but Ritter was a 3rd-round pick. That's not like a 1st-round pick. A 3rd-round pick's a flyer.
So you're saying he gets a 1st-round pick before you decide on him?
I think he might, considering he was like, they've been loading him up with guys on the skill position. It's really just been the quarterback that's been missing as far as what's holding them back.
But the thing about Arthur Smith is, I mean, he could have drafted a quarterback this year. The thing about Arthur Smith is that he's a run guy. He had Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, so he picked Bijan this year.
Yep.
He wanted to win that style. He's not a quarterback whisperer. So I like this Deion solution a little bit better if they don't win. But they might make the playoffs because they have a great run game. They have great skill positions. The other thing, if you're Shedeur, oh my gosh, what a great fit this would be to have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, who's been a disappointment, be able to hand the ball to Bijan. And I think there's
Tyler Algier. I mean, they got 2 good running backs.
Obviously, a really strong connection, Deion in Atlanta.
Of course. But that's funny because Deion has said no about the NFL, right? At every turn, no, building something at Colorado. I don't think anyone believes he's going to stay at Colorado forever. Would it be the jump? Would this be the thing that makes him jump? Like if the Falcons actually drafted Shedeur, and I guess Shilo too. I don't know if they all have to go, but then Deion would say, all right, now I want to coach my kid in the NFL level.
I think that's one of the really fun questions about this Deion Sanders thing is this mostly because Shedeur is so amazing? I mean, Deion said it last week, Shedeur puts on his cape and gives us the W. So is it the model that's great, or is it a little bit of luck that his son is a killer quarterback?
I can't imagine that the next guy they're going to bring in is going to be as good as Shedeur, right?
Well, he'll probably have his choice of anybody in the transfer portal because he's Deion. I told you I like Malik Murphy, the backup in Texas. He looks amazing, but he's going to be stuck behind Arch. So find a guy like that, but is he going to be as good as Shedeur? That's pretty tough.
And their offensive line's got to get better. But
the trenches is where they really need to work.
Yeah, I think that comes though, right?
Yeah, you need time for that.
Deion also saying, what's this, Pat, that this is not an act? I say what I say. I got to hear this.
This ain't a mind game I'm playing. This is real. So I say what I say, and I mean what I mean. I don't stutter, nor do I stumble. I make it plain. They know who I'm talking to.
Oh, this was about him being critical of different position groups who don't.
On his team.
On his own team. I remember that from his press conference. This is the same press conference where he said he does get impregnated by God with words of wisdom for his
God
team.
just impregnates me with something to give to them.
So good. So good.
It is amazing. They are going to likely go to 5-2 tonight. That's pretty good. I don't think they...
1 game away from bowl eligibility.
They're definitely making a bowl.
Yep.
I mean, they might make a good bowl.
Yep.
But, I mean, I think they'll come closer to 500. It is, all right, it's way exceeded my expectations. The truth is, it has been a little bit... Shedeur has been putting on his cape. They could have lost a couple games here. Colorado State, they probably should have lost.
Yep.
But it is, I mean, it's already a success. Remember the topic we had talked about? Are you ready to put the label on? Go ahead.
We were talking about whether Deion Sanders is the best superstar turned coach. Like, think about it. You don't generally get really successful superstars who then are also really good coaches. Like Magic Johnson was not a great coach. Wayne Gretzky was not a great coach. I think right now Larry Bird probably has to be in the lead because at least he got the Pacers to the finals. They didn't win, but...
And then he moved to the front office. Obviously, NBA and college have tons of failure. Chris Mullin failed. Patrick Ewing failed. Clyde Drexler failed at Houston. Going back to your alma mater, that does not work.
Well, I mean, Juwan Howard hasn't been terrible
Yeah,
yet.
Howard's been really good.
It's like he's dealing with a little bit of a heart issue right now, but.
Yeah, Howard's going to be in the if Howard won a national title, maybe that'd be your answer. Are there any? There's really no great football players. I looked at a list of Hall of Fame football players who are good as coaches.
Well, Steve Spurrier won the Heisman and then was a very good college coach, so that counts as being a superstar. And then you win a national championship.
But he didn't do anything in the NFL.
Well, the NFL, I mean, he went to Washington basically to play golf and take checks from Dan Snyder.
Yeah, NFL. Dick LeBeau was an outstanding player, a great Hall of Fame level player, and a really good
Mike
coach.
Ditka.
And Ditka. Maybe Ditka's your best challenge?
I still think it's Larry Bird. But if Deion continues this way and he wins a national title, I mean, I think that he has to be the best superstar to ever then turn into a coach.
I would actually put Ditka ahead of Larry Bird because Ditka was a force as a coach.
Yeah.
Based mostly on the SNL skit that I remember.
Yeah. Bulls up Bears, the Bulls up Bears.
Yeah. I mean, if Ditka was racing an Indy 500 car and he was driving a school bus, who would win? Ditka.
Ditka by 20. But Larry Bird, just because his personality wasn't so overt, I mean...
the Larry Bird, it didn't seem like he ever wanted to be there on the sideline. And it's the Pacers. Deion's had a little more
flash.
That's your guy,
Reggie Miller.
Yeah, Deion's had a little more flash as the Colorado coach than Larry Bird did in Indiana.
Oh, Peopleati saying Steve Kerr. He was on a lot of really winning teams.
Superstar. Star player. Come on.
Yeah, it was a good call. Coming up, celebrity picks, guys. We're back again. It's going to be the multi-platinum and Grammy-nominated musician is going to be our celebrity picker. Who is it? You're going to find out next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, the morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. Coming up in just moments, our NFL celebrity game picker, our celebrity NFL game picker, I should say. Celebrities have been picking games for us all season long. Today, a surprise. Multi-platinum and Grammy-nominated recording artist. We'll tell you who he is in just a few moments.
Ooh, exciting.
I know. Very, very cool.
And football fan, I believe.
Massive, massive football fan, of course. Last night, though, even if our mystery guest was a football fan, probably didn't love what he saw from that Chiefs-Broncos game. I mean, Perloff thought it was a master class by the Chiefs in sort of grinding out a win. I think the rest of us looked at it and said, all right, the Broncos defense actually showed up, but the Chiefs offense just doesn't look the same. You think it's by design. I think the rest of us feel like, no, it was lack of execution in the red zone. And when they play stiffer competition, what's it going to look like?
What do you mean lack of execution in the red zone?
1 for 5 in the red zone.
I guess so. But the old Chiefs, the Chiefs that we know, they were never in the red zone because they were scoring touchdowns from every part of the field. This is a new Chiefs that's handing the ball off all the time. I think people are panicking over nothing with the Chiefs offense.
I don't think it's a panic. It's definitely not a panic.
I've seen a little panic on social media being like, oh, look, now they missed Tyreek Hill.
No, I don't think so, because by the end of the season, if we know the Chiefs, it's going to look like a well-oiled machine. This is just early kind of figuring out a little bit of a identity. I don't know.
I don't know. When your quarterback goes 30 for 40 for 306 yards, that's not well-oiled. That's 75% of your passes are complete. You have 22 first downs. Isaiah Pacheco kind of runs at will.
I know, but
that
they scored 19 points.
Yeah, I know, but there was never a point where the Broncos were even close. They were up 16-0 with 5 minutes left in the game. That's a 16-point, anyway, whatever.
Let's get to it. Our celebrity picker is here to pick some NFL games for us. Perloff, would you like to introduce him?
So I met this person through our friend Case Keenum, and you know anybody who comes through Case Keenum is a quality person. He happens to be a multi-platinum,
recording artist?
Recording artist, Grammy-nominated, founding member of the band Need to Breathe, and now has a solo career. Please welcome to the show, Bo Reinhardt. Bo, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. So I was telling Maggie, we watched the draft together in some bizarre way during the pandemic. That's right, right?
Yeah, it was a very, very odd draft. The whole thing.
Goodell was in his basement, and I remember you were walking around your house, and Case Keenum was on there. That was a lot of fun. Who's your football team? I know you're from South Carolina.
Yeah, it was probably about 16 years ago when I first got into fantasy football with a band. We're on the road. We started our first team, and I didn't really have a team. Everybody's like, "Who's your team?" So I was just like, I'm an underdog guy. I wrote a song called The Outsiders, and so that's kind of my MO. And so I was looking for the worst team in the NFL, and that was kind of notoriously going to be the Browns.
Bo, you didn't.
So yeah, and so it was, I kept thinking each year, it's going to be, next year.
You are a Browns fan.
Yeah, and then I saw the turnaround, and I kind of predicted a 2020 Super Bowl appearance, like I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and it was looking pretty good for a while with Baker, and just came up short against the Chiefs. But yeah.
Wait, so you still, PJ Walker's likely going to start for them this weekend. I hope you're not still on that bandwagon.
We'll get there, I guess. I went to Clemson too, so I'm a Deshaun Watson, follower and fan, and I've enjoyed watching his career. And obviously, he's got some stuff he's got to work out, but the shoulder thing's weird. I don't know what's going on with the shoulder.
You and the rest of us, Bo. Bo Reinhardt is joining us. He is the multi-platinum recording artist. He's Grammy nominated. He's now embarked on this solo career, which is so cool. We want to talk to you about that. But if you are a Clemson fan, Bo, scale of 1 to 10, how frustrated are you with Dabo Swinney right now? Famously will not go into the transfer portal. I feel like the Clemson faithful are getting a little restless with the coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Dabo. And what he's done for the program. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. If things are the tide's just going to completely shift, or if Old Faithful is going to be the thing that wins out. I don't know.
Well, it's weird to me that everyone expects Clemson to win national titles. I'm not sure what year you went there, Bo, but Clemson was not a perennial contender before Dabo got there in any way at all.
Yeah, we're the Clemsoning.
Yeah,
was mean for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. And so Browns fan, Clemson fan. When you are, you wrote a song called The Outsider. When you're on tour and you're writing music, like how much football and sports do you use as a sort of a release from your art?
As much as possible. Yeah. Obviously the fantasy stuff, and now I got 2 boys, and we got father-son leagues that we're in, and so I have to stay up. They know way more than me. Now they know all the stats. They know who's dog water and who's playing next level and all that. So I'm trying to keep up with them now. But it is, yes, it's the Sunday favorite. We look forward to it every Thursday night, Monday night.
Yeah,
it's a big deal in our family.
There we go. Bo Reinhardt is joining us. He's our celebrity NFL game picker for today, and we're so appreciative, especially of getting up. I know you're a father, but you're still a musician. I feel like you have to keep late hours. It's like part of the job, but you're awesome for doing this. We mentioned, we'll get to the picks in a second, that you have reinvented yourself as a solo act, Coy Roy. What does it feel like to go through this sort of professional transformation? It's got to be pretty freeing, right?
It is. Actually, the name I chose for my moniker I chose for the project is called Coy Roy. And it's from, it's a Paul Simon song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. But then he says, you don't need to be Coy Roy, just get yourself free. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of took that and ran with it, about just the freedom of getting to make whatever choices, take however much time I need on the stuff, and being a dad, a family man, coaching them in football and basketball and all that. It allows me time to have both. I can be there as much as possible, and then also follow my dream.
You were in a band with your brother, Bear Reinhardt. Now you've got 2 sons. Would you want them to create a band together? Like, what this is, probably the highs and the lows, the good and the bad, everything that goes with being in a family band. Would you want that for your kids?
If it was something they desperately wanted, I would say go for it. Obviously working with family can be tough, but the highs are extreme highs. you know, and then there's a lot of lessons learned, and I wouldn't change, you know, a minute of it. The like 19 or 20 years that I was with the band, just incredible time, made some incredible music as well. So yeah, I would certainly support them if they wanted to rock out together.
But what's the biggest crowd you ever played in front of with Need to Breathe?
Ooh, well, we played at Cowboy Stadium.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, I think that was probably the biggest one. But yeah, we were on tour with the NFL Queen now, Taylor Swift, and so we got our share of NFL stadiums.
Oh, I did not know that.
Insane. Yeah.
Now, is she a real NFL fan? Did you have any idea this was coming?
No, I have no idea. Yeah, no clue. It makes a lot of sense, I guess. But yeah.
What was the one thing that like you can tell America about Taylor Swift that they might not know?
I mean, I think it's easy to see her passion for anything that she does, but that there's an intensity to that that people, you know, maybe not know so much, but she's an extremely hard worker and just very, very passionate.
Most of the people on the show think that the relationship might be fake. We're a little
marketing.
We're not sure. It might be fake, like just for the publicity. We're not sure. You know, we're not sure both we can believe in this love.
Yeah, that's why I said it. I think it makes sense. It could be, you know, who's to say if it's, you know, all for money or, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, people do things to sell albums. You have music coming out soon, Bo?
I do. I've kind of slowly leaked out some music. I've got an album that I'm hoping to get out early next year. And so there's 3 or 4 more singles between now and then. And the next one comes out next month, I think on the 16th of November. So there's 2 songs out right now that people can check out. But yeah, there's new music on the way.
Yeah, maybe an homage to the Browns if they win the Super Bowl. All right.
Listen, don't get crazy. I mean, the guy's trying to be an artist, not write songs about the Browns.
Okay, so Maggie and I are having the hardest time picking the games this week. We do picks every Friday in our last segment, and both of us were saying, oh, man, these spreads are really tough this week. Every week we do 5 games, so let's get to our celebrity picks.
All right.
Time for celebrity picks.
But we went for the theme from Lifestyles and the Rich and Famous, which we think is a particular banger from 80s TV shows. Yeah. Okay, Perloff sent you some games, yes.
Okay, let's start with the Ravens at Titans in London. Ravens are 4-point favorites. What do you got?
I'm going Titans. Next question. No,
yeah, you're in Nashville, just in case anyone didn't know.
I'm in Nashville. My friends go to school with some of the players' sons, and so it's hard to go against it. But I also think that they kind of got into a little bit of a stride last week, and you know, I think they're going to turn it around. And also, I like Vrabel's mentality. Like, let's just show up and do business, you know. And I know that the Ravens kind of got in early this week and spent, you know, I don't know. I think they're going to be tired of the food there. And
good point. Bo, are you just saying this so drop-off is more comfortable? Because, it just means Ryan Tannehill's kids go to the same school. All right, that's actually a great reason.
Yeah.
All right, 49ers -10 against your Browns. Let's see it. If you can pick the Browns here, then you are a true fan.
Well, you know, this is hard. This is hard. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But you know, they're in Cleveland, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in Cleveland.
Yeah. If it's a low-scoring game and Dustin Hopkins can kick about 7 field goals, then I think we got a shot.
There you go.
But no, I think Purdy's going to remain perfect.
Dustin Hopkins also friends with Case, by the way. I don't know if you've gotten to hang out with him. Super cool dude.
I'm buddies with him. Met him about 12 years ago when he was in Buffalo.
Isn't he the nicest guy? I think all kickers are nice, so that's right. Okay. Okay, this is one of our favorite games of the weekend. The Vikings at Bears. The Bears get 3 points at home in this game. Well, who do you like?
This is so tough because I feel like Kirk Cousins. I'm a big fan of him as well, but without Justin Jefferson, it's kind of like the rubber meets the road a little bit, and all this like trade talk and all this stuff. I just like Kirk Cousins' mentality, his leadership. So I feel like they can get it done. But with the Bears at home, that's tough because they're hungry to get another win. They can make it. They can have a streak, I guess. So I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. I'm gonna stick with the home team, the Bears.
Yeah.
So
this is a trick question.
Yeah.
There's no winners in this game. This might be one of the worst games of the weekend, but go ahead, Perloff.
Kirk calls you and says, "Should I go to New York? What would you advise him?" I know he loves Minnesota, but people here in New York are wondering if he should come to the Jets.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say follow your heart. I think the dude, he's going to be good wherever he goes, and for him to get a shot, I'd love to see that.
Okay. Bengals -3 at home against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I got to go the Bengals. My son's, even though I'm a Browns fan, just for some, frustrating reason, he's a Bengals fan.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Interesting story there, but I ended up taking him to the Super Bowl because he was, in that draft that we watched, they took Joe Burrow.
Yep.
He was a huge Joe Burrow fan. The following year, they take Jamar Chase, and he's like, "Dad, they're going to the Super Bowl." I said, "Son, no, they're not. Wait in line. The Browns go first, and then the Bengals would be fine." So he said, "If they go, will you take me?" And I looked at my wife. I was like, yes. If the Bengals go to the Super Bowl this year, I'll take you. And they end up going.
Oh,
and,
oh no,
so
man!
It cost me a fortune. But I'm also, kind of for that reason, I'm a Bengals fan too. So I'm going Bengals.
It's funny because a lot of us on the show are parents, so we know those kind of like things you say to your kids just to sort of like acquiesce, like yeah, sure, we'll take you.
Yeah,
and then there go the Bengals.
No way.
Yeah.
And Evan McPherson
no
is kicking 52-yarders to send you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and they were like 1-6 or something like that. I don't know what they were the start of that season, but just
Nightmare.
But it was a blast. Yeah.
All right, last game. Patriots getting 3 at Vegas.
I'm going with the Raiders. I just think that I don't know. I feel like the Mac Jones Belichick era is coming to an end. I heard him some commentary on him, or he was speaking, and was just talking a lot about having fun and celebrating the wins and all that. And I don't feel like that's the Patriot way necessarily. And I know those situations too, is where you can't enjoy the little victories or whatever, and I just feel like he's probably frustrated and doesn't gel well there. I don't know, but that's what I'm reading from the tea leaves, and I think that I think also with you two opening up their new show with the Sphere and the Sphere, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see if the Raiders' minds are like completely blown to smithereens or if they're inspired. So
that's a great reason.
Going Raiders.
Oh boy. I just want to ask a quick Nashville question. So when you go out in public, it's not a huge city. Do you see Derrick Henry and Jeffrey Simmons and Ryan Tannehill everywhere?
Yeah, they're around. I mean, I haven't run into those guys, but yes, in Carline, there's Teddy Hill and Luke Stalker, who's the tight ends coach there. Trying to think his name. But like Jared Allen is there. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. His kids go there, and so it's just a lot of those dudes are around. And if you ever go to like a Lifetime gym, they're hanging out playing basketball and all that. It's pretty wild.
And is there a music star in every coffee shop in Nashville? That's how I imagine it. I haven't spent a lot of time there, but pretty much you run into somebody who's won a Grammy.
Yes. Yeah, it's very much like that. Yeah, it's funny, and they're all in their cities, their street clothes, and
you guys just walk by each other and quietly fist bump.
Just
is that how it works?
Glance,
What's up? Yeah, I ran into one of the guys from ZZ Top the other day at like a FedEx. He was sending a package, but he's got his whole get up. He can't hide at all. So I got a selfie with him. I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he was driving like a little, one of those mini cars. It was awesome.
It's so funny. We don't think of these rock star people doing normal things like going to FedEx.
Wait, the guy from ZZ Top was driving like a Euro Mini and not like
Cooper?
a Cadillac? That's not right.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was him who got in there.
Listen, Bo, you've been so great. Thank you for doing this. Bo Reinhardt, of course, you know him. He's a multi-platinum recording artist. He's a Grammy-nominated recording artist. He's got new music out right now. He's performing under the name Coy Roy, which we love. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover is like an all-time song. So that is so, so cool. Bo, you're the best. Thank you for doing this, and good luck with your picks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That is Bo Reinhardt. Look him up. Coy Roy now with the new music, wherever you find your music.
That sounds awesome. And I actually agree with all his picks.
You gave him the toughest games of the weekend.
There are no non-tough games. There's no non-tough game on this list.
Coming up, we're going to get more into Notre Dame and USC. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Oh, this is such a great day. Everything's coming up Philly. I was like, the Phillies advancing in the playoffs, the Eagles being undefeated. Maggie, let's just dedicate all Friday to Philadelphia. Let's get an Eagles legend on the show.
All right, well, let's not get crazy here because he's also a legend from Notre Dame, and that is Bobby Taylor, who's good enough to join us right now, the former All-Pro cornerback who's now partnering up with Gen Youth in the NFL Flag in Schools program where you can nominate your favorite coaches and PE teachers to get recognized for this special award. Bobby, it's Maggie and Perloff. You are really hitting the sweet spot here with a lot of people on our show. Perloff is a diehard Everything Philadelphia. Our producer, Pat, is a massive Notre Dame fan, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you all for having me.
Appreciate it. I mean, let's start with the Notre Dame side of things. So I think it's hilarious. Your former coach, Lou Holtz, still out here getting in coaching beefs with Ryan Day. He is not backing down. Was that the least surprising thing to you as someone who played for Lou Holtz?
You know what? No, not at all. I mean, Coach Holtz is very fiery. I mean, he's always been known for how he's able to go out and publicly speak. And so he made a public comment. I was slightly surprised with his age, but you know, Coach Holtz is Coach Holtz, and you know he lets his feelings be known.
But yeah, but Coach always did that thing where Notre Dame would be playing Akron or Youngstown State, and he would build them up like he was going against the number 2 team in the nation. Did the whole team do that, where you sort of said nice things about teams even that were inferior?
Absolutely. I mean, he would come in on Mondays and say, hey, guys, this is how we want to portray ourselves in the media. There may be some things that I say that are favorable about us. May be some things that aren't favorable. But just know I have the ultimate confidence in you all. We need you to go out and have a great work week and put it all out there on the line on Saturdays. And so he was a great motivator, and I would also say a manipulator as well.
But as long as you guys were buying it, right? I think that's funny. He kind of peeled back the curtain and was like, this is exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure, you know, if Coach Freeman, you know, supported that 100%, especially, you know, how things turned out against Ohio State this year.
Yeah, I know. That one, a little bit of a backfire. But here's the thing, right? You have Marcus Freeman, who's in his second year. Now, this guy took over one of the most prestigious coaching positions in all of sports with basically no head coaching experience. So do you give him a little time to work into this, Bobby, or are you disappointed a little bit with some of the mental errors, like having 10 men on the field at the end of the Ohio State game?
Well, absolutely. When you don't have enough guys on the field, I mean, that's a major mistake, not only on the coaches, but just the leaders out there on the field as well. But one of the things I would say is he got out in front of it, and he shouldered the blame, and I was proud of him of doing that. But at the same time, I think we also have to give him some grace as well, just because of he is in one of the most prestigious coaching positions, not only in college, but just in sports in general. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And, there's not necessarily a owner's user manual as far as how to sit in those positions and make some of the decisions that he has to make that are always scrutinized, good, bad, or indifferent.
How do you approach this game? I think the rain is supposed to stop at Notre Dame and it's be mid-50s. USC has this amazing passing attack, but their defense isn't great. If you're Notre Dame, even though you probably can move the ball in the air against USC, do you try and control it on the ground?
I think we have to make it as sloppy as possible. I mean, Notre Dame sits in the Midwest. USC is that glamorous school sitting out there on the West Coast on the beach. It's always sunny out there, and you just have to make it as sloppy as possible. Use your run game. Hopefully the guys up front on both sides of the ball can control it. But more importantly, just limit our mistakes when it comes to self-inflicted penalties, jumping off sides, and things of that nature. And I think if we can do that and definitely win the turnover battle, we should be able to get a victory on Saturday.
Bobby Taylor is joining us. Of course, he's the former All-American at Notre Dame and an All-Pro cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles, most notably in that 10-year NFL career. He's joining us on behalf of NFL Flag in Schools. You can go to flag.genyouthnow.org to nominate your favorite coaches and phys ed teachers for the NFL Flag in Schools Coach of the Year award. Bobby, who is your favorite coach of all time?
My favorite coach of all time probably has to go back to high school. There's two of them. One, his name is Oscar Wilson, who's actually still coaching right now in my high school back at Longview High School in Longview, Texas. And then Coach Curtis Jones. I mean, they taught me so much, not just on the field, but off the field as well. Growing up, in a bad part of town where, there were a lot of conflicts and things of that nature. And so they just taught me how to be able to help navigate through some of those dangers that we faced on a daily basis, taught us how to win, taught us how to lose. They didn't pacify us, which, a lot of those things I still carry with me to this day. So it's important to be able to, honor coaches, because coaches play a pivotal part, not only in schools, but in the communities as well.
What are you doing here, Bobby? What about Big Red? You were a Philly guy, my guy Andy Reid.
But listen, that's not a slight on Big Red. Everybody knows, my infatuation and love for Coach Reid. I mean, he played a special part in my life. When he was able to win his first Super Bowl, I was there. Any chance I can get to stay in contact with him, I always try to give him a big hug. He's a special person. They're doing wonderfully right now. I mean, it was a little bit bittersweet last year seeing them beating my bird. But, what can I say about Coach Reid? He's a great guy on and off the field.
What is it with Coach Reid? Is it X's and O's that he has these offenses that are good every year? Or is it more of the personality things where players always talk about how he helps them be better players and better people?
You know what? I think it's a combination of both. A guy like himself who's been able to achieve so much, he doesn't have an ego. And one of the things I think Coach Reid doesn't get enough credit about is just think about his coaching tree. When you think about the John Harbaughs, you think about the Doug Petersons, both of those guys were on our coaching staff and they've won Super Bowls themselves. And so he's been a guy that's not afraid to hire great coaches that he knows at some point will probably be head coaches one day, whether that's on the collegiate level or on the professional level. And I think when you have a man like that, and I want to put an emphasis on man, when you have a great man like that, who is not afraid to have other great individuals around them and knows at some point he's possibly going to lose them because they're great as well. I mean, what more can you say about an individual?
Bobby Taylor is joining us again on behalf of the NFL Flag in Schools Coach of the Year Award, flag.genyouthnow.org to nominate your favorite coaches and phys ed teachers. I mean, Bobby, was Jerry the toughest to cover, Jerry Rice, or was there another wide receiver that you found was more challenging in your NFL career?
You know what, Jerry was definitely a tough cover, but, with the 49ers not necessarily being in our division, we didn't face them that much. I would probably have to say a guy like Michael Irvin because, we had to face those guys twice a year. it was not only Mike, but he had Troy Aikman. He had Moose in the backfield blocking for Emmett Thomas. And, I mean, you just look at all of the Hall of Fame offensive linemen that came from that organization at that particular time. And then they also had a great defense as well. So I would have to take my hats off a guy like Michael Irvin, even though I don't like the Cowboys still to this day.
Bobby, who's the guy you watch on Sundays now? You're like, oh, man, I would not want to cover him.
Man, probably Tyreek Hill, just because me being a bigger guy, being 6'3", 6'4", Tyreek is obviously under 6 feet, and you look how fast he is. Every week he comes up with the fastest speed from running his routes during the game, and he's almost like a video game player out there in real life. So I would probably have to say a guy like Tyreek Hill would be probably one of my toughest covers.
Bobby, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. The All-Pro Corner, and of course was the All-American at Notre Dame as well. Again, flag.genyouthnow.org. You can nominate your favorite coaches and physical education teachers for the Flag in Schools Coach of the Year Award. Very, very cool you're supporting coaches. Bobby, thank you so much. Best of luck to your Irish and also to your Birds this weekend.
Go Irish, go Eagles, fly Eagles, fly.
Thank you, Bobby. I know. I was like thinking about it. I'm like, we joke around that in Philadelphia, wearing a Brian Dawkins jersey is like formal wear. Like you can wear that to a black tie event. I think the Bobby Taylor jersey also would apply.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Eric Allen, that whole era. My favorite team of all time, Buddy Ryan Eagles. It ends there. But they're much like the Phillies, who I'm sure Andrew Bogus is about to talk about as well.
Good morning, Bogues. You got some headlines for us?
Maggie, great to see you. It feels like Nathaniel Hackett could do this too. The Broncos now 1-5 after trudging to a 19-8 loss in KC on Thursday Night Football. Sean Payton has your positive spin.
I was encouraged. I thought they played hard. We'll see this team in 2 weeks. And, that's kind of what I told him afterwards. I said, you can be disappointed, but don't get discouraged.
Real reassuring.
What do you think is going to happen in 2 weeks? Do you think this is going to be better or worse?
It's a great
It's going to be. My money would be on worse.
If you're trying to cheer up your locker room after a loss to the Chiefs, you don't say, you know what, we get to see him in 2 weeks. Oh, okay, coach.
And it's possible there'll be fewer of you on the roster.
Yeah, some of you will see them in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you think the Bronco D kept the Chiefs somewhat in check last night, or maybe you think KC struggled in the red zone for fun. 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers on 5 trips inside the 20. Here's Patrick Mahomes.
I think there's always a sense of urgency. I mean, I think you ask offensive guys in the locker room right now, and they're going to say that we didn't play our best. We could have done a lot of things better. But like I said, we're lucky enough that the defense is playing so good, special teams are playing so good that we can still win football games.
And they've won 5 in a row since their opening night loss to the Lions. They have also won the last 16 meetings with Denver. We've had some receiver-on-receiver crime this morning with Steve Smith versus Jerry Jeudy. Now, how about some QB receiver love? Josh Allen told us to stop diagnosing Stephon Diggs' sideline behavior from afar. Diggs said thank you to his QB yesterday.
Obviously, I'm thankful to have a quarterback that had my back in every instance, especially considering people don't know what's going on on the sideline. You're not on the sideline.
That relationship is faker than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Wow. True.
Get out of here.
They're both real.
Yeah.
Oh, got a heart, man.
Stephon Diggs is saying nice things about Josh Allen now. Let's see what's happening if they're losing by a touchdown.
Listen, from what I understand, the reason why Stephon Diggs threw the tablet in disgust in Tottenham last week is because he ran the wrong route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, he's a happy camper, that Stephon Diggs.
If Donna Kelsey shows up, then we know we've got a problem.
Well, they better be in a good mood Sunday night playing that Giant defense. If they are frustrated by that unit, then they're in real trouble in Buffalo. Yeah. Blooper, I'm not sure you guys noticed this, awfully quiet this morning after his 104-win Braves won just 1 postseason game.
Looking for a job.
Dropping Game 4 last night, 3-1 on the road to end their season. Manager Brian Snitker said their 5-day layoff before the series was not the issue. First baseman Matt Olson kind of agrees.
It's something that, you don't have a choice in, so it's no excuse to put that on the series.
The NLCS begins Monday with the Diamondbacks coming east. The NBA fined Dylan Brooks $25,000 for, quote, recklessly making contact with the groin of Indiana's Daniel Tice during Tuesday night's preseason game.
He's getting fined in preseason games?
He got
I thought
ejected.
he got shipped off to China.
No.
Reckless contact.
Reckless.
Reckless contact. Wow, I got a ticket for that one.
Last night, Zion had 4 points and 4 boards in 23 minutes, and the Pels won 20-87, lost to those Rockets. Nikola Jokic had 17 points, 6 boards, 4 assists in 18 minutes. Then watch the lesser Nuggets lose in double OT in Chicago, 133-124. Messi came off the bench, did not score in Argentina's 1-0 win over Paraguay. They are now 3-0 in World Cup qualifying. After Brazil and Venezuela played to a 1-1 draw, Neymar got hit in the head, leaving the field by a bag of popcorn. He had to be held back from going into the stands.
What?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to hit me with popcorn.
Yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you.
actually the least of your worries.
On ice, Vegas 2 for 2 on the young season after a 4-1 win in San Jose. The Stars beat the Blues 2-1 in a shootout. And the Rangers a 5-1 rout in Buffalo. Chris Kreider scored on the power play and shorthanded. And Lexi Thompson's won over through 16 holes at the PGA event in Vegas. She'll finish the round at 10:45 Eastern this morning. The lead's 9 under, so work to do to make the cut. Thompson is the first woman in 5 years to play on the men's tour, the 7th total. Guys, back to you.
Andrew Bogish, thank you so much. Coming up, we've got our picks, Maggie and Perloff style, and the one football game you must be watching this weekend. We get to that in just moments. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Now you're gonna have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, now you're gonna have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down,
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Pat Boyle.
Pat Boyle's dating strategy.
Pat Boyle's spirit animal is Genghis Khan. That should get you a lot of ladies.
Great song, Mike Snow.
This is a great song. I love this song. This, and he's got another one, Animal. Great song.
I'm sensing a theme.
Perloff, you big Mike Snow guy?
Yeah, I know the lead singer producer a little bit. Yeah, he lives downtown. Great guy. Great band.
Wow, let's go.
Yeah, you'd be
Pat's suddenly
surprised.
starstruck. We
No.
found him.
I know. Believe me, we're all starstruck. Like, he's a friend of one of my friends, and actually, I don't know him. I met him twice, and he was super nice. So I'm a big lifetime Mike Snow fan.
There you go.
2 eyes of Mike Snow, by the way.
That,
It's very confusing.
That red lipstick on Pat Boyle, that he lost the bet. He thought Taylor Swift was going to show up to the Vikings-Chiefs game. She did not. She was in the house last night, though, for Chiefs and Broncos. So Pat had to wear the Taylor Swift red lipstick, which is now morphed into the Joker red lipstick. So congrats, you're 10% creepier. And I'm being nice.
Whatever doesn't kill you, Maggie, makes you stranger.
Yeah. You're a little too on the nose with those Joker things.
That's totally terrifying
I'm
right now.
half-heartedly like hitting those lines because I feel like I could do it really well, and it would, I don't know, it would be not good.
It's a little too early for that. Let's get to our Casamigos shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day, I think, is talking about Pat's proclivities on the dating scene. Sure.
It's not like I'm just knocking up a bunch of people. It's more so the bank. It's the bank situation, and then I want to swoop in and take advantage of.
Oh, you want to donate?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think you think you're a good candidate for a sperm donation?
Why not?
Actually, I can't see why not. Just because he's
That
wearing
was mean,
lipstick
Maggie.
doesn't mean his jeans are messed up.
Lipstick doesn't get passed through the gene pool, Maggie.
Well, you know that you have to abstain from all kind of alcohol and drugs for like a long period of time before you give the donation.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I knew you didn't do your homework
Yeah,
on
that's
this.
not happening. That ain't happening.
That we just blew through that in 2 seconds. All I said is you're not going to be able to drink or do drugs for a few. I think it's a couple months before you do the sperm donation. And Boyle's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a good idea to start with, actually, Pat. Unless they pay you.
They do pay you.
You do get paid like a lot of money.
Oh, really? Okay.
Is it a lot?
If you go 12 times, I'm pretty sure I read if you go, it was like 12 times, I think you can get like $5,000 or $10,000.
This is like if you go 12 times, like it's some kind of like sub club or something, like clicking a card for you. It's like, thank you. You come back 5 more times, you get a free sandwich.
It's not like yeah. It's not like giving blood where they don't pay you at all.
They
What a
don't? I thought
ripoff.
they do pay you for giving blood, no?
I thought you donated your blood. I haven't done it.
I don't know.
My friend does.
I'm afraid of needles.
They don't pay you. Oh, actually, yeah. Like drug addicts like do that.
Which is probably the last people you want donating blood.
Yeah.
Who knows what's in that blood? Let's get to our pal Big Dave's in Kentucky. Dave, good morning.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing great. How's your week going?
Oh, it's great. Listen,
no sports fan in the history of sports has had a worse 7 days than I have. The only way my last 7 days could have been any worse would have been if my L.A. Dodgers would have had Jerry Jones come out and declare that Clayton Kershaw was the answer to the future of championships for the Los Angeles Dodgers. When Dodgers get bounced, Dave Johnson's got to go, by the way. Yes, you heard it here first.
Yeah. He's got to go. Dave, this is bad for you. I'm sorry, dude.
My football Wildcats get embarrassed by Georgia, and then the Cowboys crap the bed on Sunday night. I mean, what's left? What's left?
I'm trying. Kentucky basketball right around the corner, Dave. You got the season, the Wildcats are coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Dave, don't forget that the Philadelphia Eagles, your arch nemesis, are undefeated. Let's add that in there.
Perloff, don't. Not to the Warden.
Hey, yeah, what's the odds that the only reason that I wouldn't have been totally surprised if Jerry went ahead and extended Dak's contract the next day, but I got to think, no, let's wait till he plays the Eagles and throws 5 interceptions and then come out the next day and extend his contract.
It's going to be great. Listen, Dave, it's only $50 million a year. You know, that's just the going rate for QBs these days. Thank you for the call, Dave, and have a great weekend. I'm sure things will turn around. Maybe not against the Chargers, but maybe.
By the way, I just jinxed the Eagles. I feel bad. If they lose to the Jets, Dave should call on Monday and make fun of me.
They won't. Trust me.
We're all going to make fun of you if they lose to the Jets. Let's get to our NFL picks, please.
Maggie and Perloff's NFL picks.
That's actual live footage. That's just how me and Perloff talk to each other. What are our records, please, Pat?
Yeah, so Maggie, you went 2-1 last week. You are at 7-8 on the season. You hit the Steelers plus 4.5, which was an outright winner. You hit Tyreek Hill over 6.5 catches. He had 8. And you lost on the Jets and the Broncos under, mostly because the Broncos defense can't stop a nosebleed.
Yep.
Perloff, you are 9-6 on the year. Another 2-1 week for you. You lost on the Patriots -1. You lost that spread by about 35 points.
Yeah, but it just counts as one loss, Pat.
Exactly. You hit the Bengals and the Cardinals over 44. You hit that pretty easily. And then Kirk Cousins over 1.5 touchdowns. He had 2 of them, so 2-1.
There we go.
Okay, so Maggie and Perloff, the way we do these picks is 1 over/under, 1 against the spread, 1 player prop. Perloff, you're on fire, so why don't you go first?
Oh, boy, this is a really hard week. Can we agree on that?
Tough.
I am going to ride Joe Burrow, a healthy Joe Burrow. It's in Cincinnati. They're laying 3 against the Seahawks. Honestly, I think that Cincinnati's turnaround has begun. You know how they start slow and then they get it going? I think it's a getting going process, and they beat Seattle.
Okay, you and I are going head-to-head on this one because I'm taking the Seahawks plus the 3. This doesn't happen a lot, but I do think that this was a little bit overreaction to last week where the Bengals beat, like, the Arizona Cardinals. We love them because they're a little spry, but this is going to be a much bigger test on the road. Give me Seahawks and the 3 points. You and I going head-to-head.
That is exciting.
I know. There we go.
Oh, man.
Now we
okay.
get some juice.
My total here. This one, I think I'm going to lose this game, but I'm still going this way.
Okay.
The Niners and Browns, possible weather in Cleveland. The total's at 36.5. Don't you? 36.5? 36.5. Are you just curious if these two teams could get 37 points on the board? The most explosive team in the league, the Niners. I just worry the score is going to be 36-0, and I'm going to lose this bet. But I'm going on the over. 49ers, Browns, P.J. Walker, former Temple star, time to show out. I feel really good about this one.
Okay, my over-under, this is tough, I found. I'm going to the Lions and the Buccaneers, and I'm going to go under 42. I'm curious, we talked before about Jared Goff on the road. Is it going to look a little bit different? You got the Bucs coming off of the bye, and I think that Bucs defense is actually legit. I know Baker's getting a lot of the headlines, but still a lot of talent on that team. So give me Lions, Bucs under 42.
Okay, the prop. I have a weird one, and I have to admit, I've been reading about this prop a lot. I'm not the first person to jump on this guy. We have a quarterback change in Indianapolis. You know, some quarterbacks like receivers more than others. Feels like Gardner Minshew and rookie Josh Downs have a natural connection. His total is 3.5 catches. Josh Downs will be targeted all game long against the Jags. Over on Josh Downs' receptions, of course.
It's like we have the same brain.
No.
I'm not doing that prop, but I did look at that game, and I'm going Gardner Minshew under 230.5 passing yards. because I think
that number's huge.
It's a huge number. Thank you. And also, I think, listen, maybe I'm reacting a little to last week when I saw the Jacksonville Jaguars defense really take it to my Bills. So I think they're going to be able to have some success here against Minshew in the passing game, under 230.5 yards.
The only question is, was that just a result of being in London? I always wonder that. This London game is throwing us all off. This is a wild
Also, the
week.
Colts never win in Jacksonville. Isn't that's like the big thing with the Colts? They never
Jacksonville
can win
has
there.
won 8 in a row in Duval.
Yeah, exactly. So
Perloff, also, real quick, Josh Downs over 3.5 receptions.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Oh,
the
yeah.
ledger. Okay, so let's recap here. I'm going to take the Seahawks +3 against Cincinnati. I got Lions, Bucks under 42 for the total, and Minshew under 230.5 passing yards against those Jags.
I'm going right against Maggie. I got the Bengals at home against Seahawks. I got the Niners, Browns over 36.5. And I got my man, Josh Downs, over 3.5 receptions.
And those are the Maggie and Perloff picks for week 6. Yeah, thumbs up. Special thank yous this week. We had a lot of cool people had their hands on the show this week, and they did a fantastic job. Finishing out, Pat Boyle wearing the red lipstick. Thank you for being a trooper, being a good sport. Pete Bellotti, Andrew Kaplan, Andrew Bogish, the Weedos, the coffee drinkers, now the new Twitch audience, the callers. Wow, we're lucky people. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
You're in a 5-minute break.